go to settings and voice and video, you might be able to set the device and actually specifically put it to the headphones. Maybe that'll do it. Because sometimes it
I
kind of messes me up there too.
Yeah, I got it to work with my other ones one time, and that's because I had to put it on call mode, and it
Mm-hmm.
worked. And now it just doesn't. I'm like,
All
okay,
right.
cool, thanks.
Well, we'll keep working at it.
Yeah, I'll get it.
A solution will be found at some point.
Mhm.
So, you all had yourselves a relatively restful evening in the city of Bakata. Good old home. Everything seems well. We've gone so far, and yet here you are. And you are awaiting potentially a bad day soon as the looming fleet of the Morningstar Corporation approaches closer and closer, perhaps delayed or even stopped by your actions the other day of attempting to scuttle the massive ship named the Freya being named for the mother in law of a good friend of yours. Well, I say friend, of an ally by the name of Torin. His grandfather being Torin the Great, and his son being the founder of Morningstar, which actually would make Tiamat his stepmother, a wicked, wicked stepmother. Anyway, what would you all like to do? You're basically somewhat in the same area, and you can just start whenever.
How
Uh,
about we go?
I will add though, Aladrin being stationed on a rooftop overlooking the. You see nothing. The sun has risen. The slightly less starless night has vanished away. All the stars being hidden now by the light of the powerful sun. And there's nothing. No fleet for as far as your elf eyes can see.
Uh,
Go on.
How does the sky look?
The sky looks a little bright. Yeah, but nice otherwise. Fairly cloudless. A little chilly. A little chilly. Not bad though.
Hmm.
Yeah. This area is doesn't get a lot of rain. Let's put it that way. Don't all jump at once.
Uh, I mean, like,
Oh,
sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Mollymort kind of slept with Alondria. Well, kind of
Oh,
fell asleep with Alondria, forcing her to stay there for at least a while.
That is
So,
accurate.
come morning, she is going to, you know, bother Alondria a bit. She still has a bunch of uncut gems from the queen in her hat, so she'll pull out those 2 bags and tell Alondria to put them somewhere safe. And then she'll also pull out good amount of fake jewelry and kind of adorn Alondria with it, as well as she has a where is it? A tiara, a silver circlet. That's it. That's worth
Mhm.
500 gold pieces that she'll put on Alondria along with all this fake jewelry.
Okay.
And then she'll tell her to put it all somewhere safe and say she looks forward to seeing her later or not. And then she'll go out and look for a dress to buy that'll go well with her armor.
All right. Alondria doesn't seem at all offended by the potentially racist, last sexist notion that she, because she's a woman, likes jewelry, and because she's a dragon, she likes to hoard treasure. But she's fine with it. That's fine. Because she not only likes jewelry, she also likes to hoard treasure. She takes these items happily, and, you know, she seems very happy with them, the shinies.
Very honestly, I entirely forgot about that, that implication.
It's just you're
Just,
just playing to a stereotype. I'm just saying, but that's fine.
she is somebody I trusted with my more valuable items who I wouldn't be side by side with, and who I know knows Bakata and will know good places to hide things. Well, I
Egg.
presume.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those dragons, they're always hiding stuff. Anyway, so you go out to try and find a dress that matches your armor, or a dress that matches. Go on.
Yeah, my scale mail. That's it.
Okay. Any particular kind of dress?
Something that will be have some functionality to it as well. So not like too poofy or anything.
Okay. You know that the city has had, or rather, that you all have had run-ins before with, for instance, Edna's very big and very tall at the dockside. You also knew Narbeth, the owner of Narbeth Leather Goods. So you know that there are some merchants around, but you're probably not going to find much in your size at Edna's very big and very tall. I'll be very honest.
Yes, I suspected as much.
Yeah. Trying to think if there are too many. I'm guessing children's sizes esque.
There are gnomes in the city.
Yeah, but not so much that there are a lot of specialty gnome shops. A lot of them either bring their clothes or it's imported or they're custom made. I'm sure that there's a gnomish tailor out there somewhere,
There's
but
no quarter of the city, right?
there's not a gnomish quarter. No.
Okay.
There are the occasional gnomish carts, but I will add, you know a gnome that is part of the city's council, Rutabaga Gilderoy. She surely knows someone who can make quite a gnomish dress.
I don't want to bother her, and that'll probably take a while. So I'll look for some children's clothing and try to find somebody who can alter them.
All right. Does anyone want to go with her wandering about the city in this potential wartime?
I mean, I feel like it should be fine.
What could possibly go wrong?
Exactly.
Getting my story cubes out, don't mind me. All right. Is there anything else that anyone would like to do? Just rest and relax while Mollymort goes dress shopping and Aladrin gets a tan?
No, Lee would go to his post out by the docks. I assume is where the invasion is coming from.
Quite possibly. You know that they have a rather large fleet, but you also saw that they seem to have a lot of ground forces. It's certainly conceivable that they would land an army before they got to Bakata and then only bring in the fleet afterwards, the fleet being somewhat vulnerable.
I guess if Aldrin has the docks, then Lee will take the wall, the wall opposite of it, the one that we had to. There was a battle before, during the time of the mayor when we were trying to get in, or the governor, and I would go to where that, we were trying to get in through that gate.
All right. Yes, that one is sort of on the northwest side of the city. I will add, they seem to be coming from the south. So either they'll do a really wide flank, or they might even come through the south. But there's walls on the north, south, and west of the city.
All right, put me wherever.
Okay. You wander off to the walls, assured that they will be safer wherever you are.
Just put me wherever the military generals think would be the best place to put me, because Lee would go wherever they tell him to go.
If you go back to the sort of mayor's house, the ex-mayor's house, the sort of headquarters, the fortress that they are using as a kind of headquarters, and ask where to go, they will still say, wherever you want to go, sir. You probably know this enemy more than us, and You know the city just as well as us.
Is there a southern gate that I can go to?
There are southern gates, yes, especially the largest gate of the city is the southern gate on the long road. That's sort of the main throughway into and out of the city, the main means of egress.
That sounds like a good place. That sounds like a really good place to attack, so I guess I'll pick up my goat.
All right. Start.
Is he wearing armor now, or have they not been able to get to that yet?
Well, I was about to say, if you wanted to go, you said that you wanted to get a modified set of armor, right? If
Yeah,
you
whatever
go,
they can do.
if you go back to the mayor's headquarters, this being in the daytime, you're able to actually talk to some individuals there, and you will see some people that you recognize. Among them, if you recall, being Keith Manorham himself.
Oh yeah, he was a blacksmith that I thought was a dwarf because I'm racist.
Yes, he is the armorer of the city. And he says that he had heard that you were back in town and that he had a gift for you.
I give him a high five.
He high fives back, and it is thunderous.
Nice.
You're both powerful near dwarves, and it's quite strong, even though you're both half elves.
Powerful near dwarves, I like it.
Yeah. Together, you all probably are quarter dwarf, one way or another. You're. Well, anyway, so he has made a set of goat armor for you. It should work for either one. It's not magical. It's just good leather and steel, but you can add essentially a little bit of AC onto your goat because he had made this that you can move from goat to goat as you like. It's a couple of plates, essentially a head section, and then a kind of a body drape over that straps underneath, and then some hind plates.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it'll help it against arrows and things.
Love it.
Yeah, they wanted to do something nice for you. But yeah, if you are also there, you'd be able to see that a lot of the old people that you've been dealing with for a while here. Elfar is there. You got Durzo is not. You presumably he's still just gone wherever. But you do have Elithar, Captain Raduli, essentially, and the usual. The usual.
Alright. If Elithar is here, where did we leave Orin?
You left. Well, you can call him Torin amongst us. You don't have to use his code name or his alias. But you left Torin last at Torinia, up there with Beamgilder, Dimor Beamgilder, the former head of the Wizards Guild of Urbanville and now founder of the Wizards School of Torinia.
Can I just mention that it just dawned on me that he's named Torin and his father's named Torin, so we could be calling him Junior all this time.
Well, technically, he is Torin Oathrunner the Third. Yeah.
I may start calling him Junior.
I'm
I'm
sure
gonna-
he would hate that.
Instead of
I got a
calling
perfect
him
nickname for
Junior,
him.
We should call the dad Junior.
I'm sorry, I missed that. What did you say?
I said we should call his dad Junior since his dad is Junior and Tor's the third.
That's true. He is.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll just meet him and we're like, "Hey, Junior."
Although he might not be upset in any way by that. But
I'm
whatever.
not used to it.
You never know.
I mean, he
but-
probably would find pride in it, considering he's continuing the conquest of his father.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. But either way, I like the idea of calling him Junior.
Mm-hmm. You also see a particular fellow that you had seen several times before, a dwarf, and he is drinking his breakfast from a cup that looks like you could beat someone to death with it. And he seems to be probably a representative of the dwarven militia that's there. Of course, the dwarven militia.
All the way up?
Huh?
He made it all the way up? I remember he was covering logistics in Bourbonville, but I don't remember his name.
Yes. So this particular fellow, you know that you've seen him in basically every fight that these guys have been in. He's presumably someone rather tough, but he has been helping out wherever he can. And since most of the army fled Bourbonville after you know who came through, it makes sense that he's probably helping to lead it the best he can here, being the potentially highest ranked dwarf, at least in the room. Because while Elifar might be helping out with some things, he is not a dwarf. And while he is a confidant of Torrens, and while he is certainly very smart, not all dwarves are necessarily going to listen to this fellow.
Yeah.
This, elf.
What
He's a
did
little-
I don't remember what happened to our necromancer. Does anybody know what happened to her?
No idea.
You left her at Terenia,
Oh,
Yeah.
good, just like everyone else.
along with, yeah, exactly, along with, a couple of other drow, including a family.
Well, I thought the intention was to send her along with fuck, I can't remember his name. Real?
That's fine. Yeah, real. Your intention was to potentially send all of them down to Hope to try and resurrect Bahamut, but you never got around to it.
Oops.
Woohoo.
Ah. See, I had thought that we had just been like, hey, send these guys when we teleported from there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So her and Orin and Philman can all be in one place. No, wait, Philman's with us. Okay. Yeah, her, Orin, and Terinia.
Wouldn't
Better
wouldn't talk
than Bakata.
with the or the convincing of the drow to come and help resurrect, wouldn't that constitute talking about where and who and whatnot, so they might know? I wasn't there for that session, but that's just something that would.
You didn't actually even talk to. You never talked to the necromancer about the scale of what you're asking her to do.
I think we mentioned that it was trying to resurrect Bahamut.
We briefly mentioned if it was in her capabilities.
Yeah, and she said something along the lines of, well, I've never tried it before, but let's see,
Yeah.
You glossed over that you wanted to resurrect a dragon god, or rather, correct me, or rather, to correct myself. I believe your specific phrasing was that you wanted to bring back a dead dragon god. Not so much resurrect, but anyway.
Huh.
She said that she'd be, she'd like to try,
Alright.
Well, shit, guys.
but she is not here.
Yeah, we kind of missed our chance to go and take care of that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if any of you
Somewhere else
really
we have to
caught.
report.
Again, to add to this massive list of characters that you have, but you could call the necromancer Zil, Z-I-L.
Got it.
That her full name being Zilra Idia Torth.
To be fair, I'm
let's
starting
go
to
with Del.
forget the name of Lee's family members, so.
Well, you can imagine how I feel. I've got a list of characters here. It takes me a good 6-10 minutes to find somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, my list is probably about half as long as yours, and I'm getting, losing.
Yeah, but it is fun to be able to crack out, do you want to go to Edna's very big and very tall?
That is one thing. Okay, we got talking, and I forgot that I wanted to go to Edna's very big and very tall.
All
And I
right.
want to
Before I
find
went to
that guy
stations.
commissioned to make my cloak.
Okay.
I completely forgot about that.
In terms of the cloak, I think you went to talk to Narbeth, the owner of Narbeth's Leather Goods.
I think so. It was the one
That
that Molly spoke highly of.
correct. That is the one that stitched together the scales of the poor dragon Istio, the blue dragon that
Yep.
Fion killed, whose father you met later on and gave his hands to, as creepy as that was, guys. But anyway,
His
you're
Forgot
hand
about
was
that.
just his claws.
yeah, she gave his claws. Correct. That is so different than hands. Right. So you were able to you were Fion, you're able to make your way down to Edna's very big and very tall, which is also dockside. And Narbith's leather goods are sort of in the southeast corner, if I recall correctly. Not quite to dockside, but closer than the uh, essentially the hall of tasteful dragon paintings behind a door that has a knob, which is just kind of, whatever, in an alley that, heck, they're probably going to put in windows. You never know.
Yeah.
So, first up, let's see.
Speaking of
Molly
NPCs that we left behind, where's Utuguro?
Utaguro,
Is
the
it-
last you saw, he was forming some kind of tribal militia with fishermen outside of the city of Hope.
Okay.
Yeah, so by the time you get back, it might be possible that he's got a whole fiefdom set up. He is, of course, a
Damn.
powerful warrior of a tremendously strong-willed species, and he
Mm.
does not speak a lick of common, but he speaks the universal language of strength.
He's great.
Yes, he is. The headcanon of
I
Udaguro
have
doing
a
all
giant rock crab spear made for him. I forgot to give it to him.
That's fine. That's fine. All right. So while Fion is going off to Edna's, and while Molly Mort is going dress shopping, and while let's see, Ormus is going to go talk to Narbith, Aladrin is still getting a tan, and Lee is going off to the wall. Okay, you all are sorted. Let's see. First up, what does Molly Mort, if anything, encounter while searching for a dress? Oh, well, that's not so bad. Unfortunately, Molly Mort, the first place you come up to has a back in 5 minutes sign on the door, and judging from like the corrosion and dust and dirt on the door and the windows, this person said that they would be back in 5 minutes and just never came back.
In that case, if it looks like it's been kind of abandoned for a little bit, I'm gonna take a peek in anyways.
Wonderful, absolutely wonderful.
Absolutely.
As you attempt to push to the door, it doesn't seem to want to move. You know that this city it's had some troubled times over the past couple of months. A large percentage of the city is no more. There are sections that are abandoned, there are sections that have burned down, sections that are destroyed. And this is one of the quieter areas. But no one seems to be around, but the door is stuck. Or locked, perhaps. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna try to force it.
Okay.
With the
In
fireball?
in what manner would you like to force it?
In the manner that it may simply be stuck.
All right, you're gonna put some gnomish shoulder into it.
Heck
Okay, make
I
a.
say just go through the window.
Well, you could make a strength check and try to push the door in. I'll add that this is only a couple of blocks away from a bookstore that had been gone from family to family to family to family that mysteriously burned down during the troubled times.
Oh.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make a strength check.
I rolled 3.
All right, you put all of your gnomish weight into it, and just nothing. No, no groan, no cracking.
Can I check to see if any of the windows are openable?
Well, one would argue that all windows are openable. It merely matters what state they're in when they are opened.
Yeah, the ultimate
Or which side?
brick.
None of them seem opened. None of them seem designed to open from the outside.
Even if it's got a second floor and there are upstairs windows?
As you back up to look up, it looks like there are upstairs windows, but they are also not designed to open from the outside, and they are not open.
Okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna look for a heavy rock.
All right. It's not a difficult task to do. You can see that the various street crews of the city have pushed the rubble from various buildings and various destructions of parts of buildings and over bridges and etc. There are conveniently every couple of blocks, rather, I'm not going to say large, but certainly not small, piles of rubble. And you're able to find bricks and pieces of lumber, some of it burned, some of it not.
I'm going to use my ring of jumping, getting a bit of a running start if I need to, and try to jump up to the second floor.
Okay. You're able to easily jump your way up, but the question is if you can hang on. Uh, of course, this being like most buildings, it does not have handholds that are specifically designed for holding on the second story. So, if you would make perhaps an athletics check to try and grab on, or and maybe an acrobatics, but mostly an athletics to try and hold on as if climbing.
11.
That is just enough to be able to cling on to something, to be able to. Uh, while there are not a lot of plants, there's not a lot of ivy or anything to hold on to. It seems that this particular clothing store owner was ambitious with a windowsill flower pot esque shelf and a little bit of trellis, but you're able to hang on and cling.
Great. Okay, I'll try to break in one of the upstairs windows.
Okay. Roll to smash. I'm assuming you're throwing it, or are you making a melee attack on this window?
I was figuring, I was hopping up so I could do a melee attack.
Okay, go ahead and make a melee attack against the window. Not so much concerned with damage, but we are curious how effective the hit is.
That would be like a 12.
That's fairly effective. You know, you're able to give it, this is fragile glass. You hit it right in the center of where the wood comes together to form this separate pane window, and just crack into it as you start to break one pane or two. It starts to come away. You want to just keep smashing and smashing?
Yeah, I want to
Okay.
be inside.
Hmm?
I said yes, I want to be inside.
All right. You hear the clattering of glass on the other side, and even some around you as you just smash in. And the streets are quiet. You hear some barking dogs in the distance as you just break in. And soon enough, there's enough of the panes of this window are missing that you should be able to relatively safely move in. After, of course, taking out all the glass along the very edges with your handy dandy universal door, or rather window opening rock.
You just
and
cast
you-
magic missile. It's fine.
and you find yourself inside of the. It appears to be a quaint bedroom, probably of the proprietor of this store.
Okay, I'll go downstairs to see if I can find any dresses I like.
Okay, you were downstairs. There are some decent dresses. I will add, though, that this calamity that they said that they would be right back during was not only last year, but It was in the sort of early fall, so the styles are a little bit different compared to this late winter. And it's a little different, but not bad. But yeah, there's a couple of dresses here. They're simple, light, uh, not breezy per se, but not insulated. Not a lot of coats. Some hats.
I plan on wearing pants underneath anyways because, I'm gonna be fighting, so it doesn't need to be that warm as long as it's decently pretty and won't get in the way.
That's fair. What in particular? What would be the ideal for you? Describe the perfect thing that you're looking
Well, something light blue, maybe some white or possibly even black trim or accents. Um, it can't be off the shoulder or sleeveless or anything. It has
for.
to have
Mhm.
decent sleeves to hold it up. And, it's got to be thick enough that the armor won't bother me. And just decent length, decently flowing, but not too much fabric.
Mhm. You find some that you think might be in the right realm, but they're all long sleeve. Is that going to be a problem?
I don't think so.
Okay. But yeah, you're able to find a blue one with white accent, whatever that means. But you're able to get that, and it is long sleeve. There you go.
Okay, will it fit me, including in the bust?
Well, um, probably not. No, if we're being honest, no.
Alright, well then long sleeves are great. It gives extra material for bringing it out.
Exactly. Very handy.
Okay, I'll grab that and go and try to find somebody to do a bit of alterations. Actually,
Uh,
if there are two, I'll take another one with the same fabric. I'll take that one as well, just in case.
yes, there are a couple of other garments of a similar. Basically, they're of the similar fabric, but they're not all the same style, and they're not the same size, but they are the same fabric.
Fabric is what's important here. Okay, I'll take those. I'll go back outside through the upstairs window again, and
Fair.
I'll try to find somebody to do some alterations.
Okay, you're able to easily get out and start wandering the streets with. I'm assuming you just have these things like wrapped over your arm, or did you grab like a shopping bag or a pillowcase?
I'll totally grab a shopping bag. Definitely.
Okay, yeah, you're able to get something of a similar sort of. They have some that are sort of larger garment bags, but those are bigger than you are. But you're able to find some that you could, they're like tote bags that you could roll or fold these dresses into.
Okay, that'll work. Off I go.
All right, off indeed you go, and we'll return to you momentarily. Ormus, you go
Uh-huh.
looking for Narbeth and Narbeth's leather goods.
See,
So, yes, indeed, as they say, see. Uh, You remember that the last time you saw him was several months ago. That Molly Mort had her armor made from the blue scales of dragon from him, and you commissioned a cloak, and I believe you even prepaid.
yep.
But there was some concern when you left. You tried to talk to him, but if I recall, you could not find him, and you weren't sure if he was one of the many that died in the conflict with the mayor.
Yeah.
Um, but as you show up today to his shop,
I had it commissioned after the dragon attack.
after the dragon attack, yes, but not because remember that there were different levels, different layers and times. That
Yeah.
exactly the dragon attack. It was after the dragon attack, but before the battle with the mayor,
Yes.
and before a couple of other catastrophes befell this city. Unfortunately, when you arrive, you can see that it looks like his shop has been destroyed. Dun dun dun.
Oh.
It looks empty. It looks bereft of commerce, and you can see that it actually no, it doesn't look destroyed. It looks like everything's gone. He moved maybe like all the shelves are gone, but nothing's destroyed in the shelf. Although some of the stuff outside is destroyed. It looks like maybe he moved someplace.
All right. I mean, I'll ask around.
All right. As you ask some of the neighbors about Narbeth and his leather goods, they say that he moved to the other side. Well, not so much to the other side of town, but to a nicer area of town because no, this one's still a little devastated. He went to a place that has finer goods and that he's able to ply his trade a little bit more. Apparently, some of the really nice goods and what's the particular term for? It's not a leathersmith. Whatever, I forget it, and that's okay, guys. I forget words. You're able to find his shop eventually, and apparently, he had took over the larger shop of a more successful person that has. So anyway, when you walk in, he squints at you and says, "I know you."
Yes, greetings. Looks like you're doing well.
I know you, right?
Yes, yes. I came to see you before. Well, actually, just before, after the dragon attack.
Oh, that's right. The dragon, the dragon. You're the lady with the dragon, the dragon. Right. He's kind of scratching a bit of a comb over on his head, and he's looking around, and he goes, I was doing something, right?
Yes. I asked you to. I want to see if you can make me a cloak out of displacer pelt, some materials I got from the dragon.
Right. The weird, the thing, yeah, right. He's just like waving his hand. He's like, yeah, sorry, I've been very busy. Wait here, I'll be right back. And he goes into the back, and he comes back a minute later, and he has a really long cloak, a long cloak of just this thick, dense. I mean, this leather looks like an oil spill, and it's very heavy, and it doesn't seem to. I mean, it's not got a lot of flow, if we're being honest, but it's dense, and it looks like again a thick, heavy leather, and it looks like he's had the basically it can be strapped around using something that looks like it was probably made from the tentacles of the displacer beast. But yeah, you got kind of a in the Harry Potter movie, there's a particular scene where a guy's wearing a cloak that's strapped with two leather straps across the chest. It looks kind of like that. If you can picture that, a cloak that is fastened with potentially two leather straps across the chest. Looks kind of tough.
Okay, but yeah, I can imagine what it looks like. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean it looks rough. Like this is you don't want to go up and talk to a guy that's wearing this.
Like, biker leathers, right?
Yeah, you
And
know
the,
exactly the temperature of the topic that this is purchased in. Yeah, it's tough. Go on.
The dragon bones and scales that I give him, were they incorporated or were they kept by him?
The a lot of the bones seem to be incorporated into parts of the clasp. You like made buttons out of them.
Ooh, so it's really punk.
Yeah, and the scales seem to be added as kind of pauldrons.
Ooh.
Oh,
But they seem to be like they're not on top, they're underneath, so it forms a shape and it provides armor, but it doesn't disrupt the perfect black of the displacer leather.
oh.
Does it make him look like a Final Fantasy character?
Very much so. Yeah.
Yes, I wasn't going for that, but that's beautiful.
I'm literally imagining the cloak that Cloud wears.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of like something similar to that, at least.
Mm-hmm. And it's almost the opposite of course, you know that certain members of your team has one of them commissioned another cloak that always blows in the wind. This leather is so thick, it looks like it is wind resistant. Like it is. It's while others will be blowing strong, this one will be providing an imposing.
Blowing.
Yeah, this will provide an imposing silhouette regardless of weather.
I can't help but be a little jealous because, like, as a big stealth guy, just imagining this like pitch black, very heavy, non-flappy leather, with the yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, this thing looks like they stole it from a Batman costume, but like a Tim Burton Batman costume.
God.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Love
All
it.
right.
Beautiful.
So you've got that, and Narva seems pretty happy that you're happy.
Oh, absolutely. Happy indeed. I'll definitely, if he's alive afterwards, bring in a lot of business to him. If I...
He appreciates that. I'm assuming you tell him that, like, if we were alive afterwards, I'll bring you business.
Well, no, like it's, I think like I'll definitely be recommending your business to as many people as I can.
He says, thank you, I appreciate it. Although, as you can see, and he motions around to, like, a stuffed full with projects shop. He says that he's doing very well now.
Fantastic. Did anybody else have anything that was here that I would know about?
Nope.
Molly, you had the leather. That was all. Okay, never mind. All right, cool. I just wanted to make sure I couldn't pick anything up for anyone.
Mm-hmm.
No, remember? No, he wasn't. Was he the guy that I sat there and watched him make my armor?
Yes.
Did you watch him? Okay.
She did. He put together these. He put the blue scales onto her armor for her.
Gotcha.
All right. Fion,
Yes.
you're heading down to the dock to go to Edna's. Very big and very tall. It's a place you've been several times before. You've only robbed it once, and you're hoping everything's fine down there, as is very important these days. Go ahead and roll a D100.
Oh my. Okay. That's a 61.
Okay. With a 61, as you get down there, going to dockside, you recognize a place that that your friend Mark in that he used to, or rather, that Mark's sister said that he used to hang out in a lot, which is fine. And you know, from here, you got to turn right, and as you try to remember your way around the city, but you are able to get yourself to Edna's very big and very tall. But when you go in, you don't see Edna. It's open, but I mean, you don't see Edna.
Do I see anyone like watching the merchandise at least?
You do. You see a gnome. You can tell immediately that he's a gnome because he's standing on the counter, watching as you come in.
That is a very gnome thing to do. We've seen Molly do that before, so
Yeah.
stand on counter.
Yeah. But yeah, he's standing on the counter as you come in. But he doesn't say anything. Not very good customer service, frankly. You should always greet customers to let them know that they're welcome and that they're being watched.
Yeah, I have a theory about why gnomes like to stand on high places. It's because their predatory instinct. They want to survey their domain.
That's true. They're descended from owls. So they have a tendency to
The
Never mind.
perch.
Anyway, yeah.
Why do you think I love perching on Fion and you? Well,
Exactly.
mostly Fion.
Yeah.
And Aladrin.
The gnomish history is a fascinating one. I could have an entire game based on the savagery of gnomes.
We
But
should
anyway,
do that one, and we should do that one.
we'll do that. I'll make a one shot for one of these months, just all about the history of gnomes. Anyway, but you go in and you do not see an Edna.
I'll actually walk up to the counter. Cause like, if Fion's been here a couple of times before, his dynamic with Edna is like usually when he walks in, she'll nod or grunt, and he'll nod or grunt, and then they go on about their business.
Yeah, exactly. Part of you even kind of misses the beautiful raspy tones of Edna. You could just hear her coming in. What do you want? Just
She's a
Anyway.
lovely individual, isn't she?
just a pure soul. A pure soul.
What do you want?
And he'll walk up to the counter and he'll greet the gnome there with a nod, and he'll say, Edna no longer working here?
He says, well, she's busy.
Busy.
Yeah, she still owns the place, but, she got a life. She don't want to work every day.
Oh, yeah, it was just,
Can't blame her. What's your problem, man?
No,
You owe you money or something?
no, it was just.
I don't want any trouble here.
Boston.
I don't want any trouble here. We're gonna have big problems.
No. I'm just Edna's been in
We
every
better
time
not
I
have a
come in.
problem. What do you want?
Bear.
I'm gonna go look at the trench coats. I'll just,
Yeah, you look at the trench coats.
Get yourself a trilby too. You need it to look fashionable with your katana.
But yeah, I'll just go and I will take a note of the fashion because I can make my armor appear as anything. So I'll have to buy shirts.
So you're just window shopping, or you're gonna buy some shirts?
No, I'm not gonna buy any shirts. I'm just taking note of the fashion of them. I do intend on buying a trench coat.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just look through the trench coats, try and find a heavy leather one, and maybe even look at some hats if there are any.
Yeah, they've got hats. You know that Edna was always very big on hats. Still is, presumably, and there are quite a few that are here. A variety of hats: wide brim, small brim, round top, not round top, couple of pointy tops for the wizard types. And the occasional witch. This is everything here is relatively unisex. If you're of a particular style, and of course size for the very big and very tall. Whether you are very big or very tall, or very big and very tall.
I think I'll grab one of the round top. I'm imagining. Excuse me. When you say round top, almost like a bowler hat.
Yes, essentially. But there are bowler hats that are wide brim, akin to Irish priest style, that they just these massive rims, or the small brim, or the curved rim, which a curved rim round top is sort of a bowler style.
Yeah. I think I'll go for a small brim.
All right. If you imagine the hats from the Spanish Inquisition speech, they have those kind of hats. That's what I meant to say with the wide brims. But yeah, you can get a bowler hat.
Yeah, and I'll work on finding an adequate trench coat because I want one that's heavy leather that's not gonna flap.
Yeah. Well, as you look through it all, that oftentimes the cheaper leathers tend to be a bit heavier, which in this case is actually good for you. But most people don't like it because it's heavier and usually too warm for the climate. And of course, it's rough and large. But for you, that's again perfect. That's fine. So you're able to find a fairly large trench coat of exactly what you're kind of looking for. They have it in brown, black, and blue.
Ooh. What the
Uh,
fuck? Oh, never mind. They can dye leather. I'm an idiot.
no, like legit for a second before you said that, I was gonna say what does the blue leather come from? Anyways,
Everyone else just uses like leather from like the color of the creature. Like Aladrin has a purple kraken skin cloak.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like blue suede shoes, kind of. It's
They use
It's
indigo. Yeah.
I think I'll take the blue one.
yeah. I mean, it's blue, but yeah, it's there.
Yeah, and I'll walk up to the counter and hope that I have enough gold for this.
Okay, so he looks it over. In total, you got the a hat and the blue jacket, right? The blue duster.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, that should be it for me.
All right. He says that the hats are just a silver, and this one here, this is 4 gold for the jacket. Is that going to be all right? He's looking at you, looking you up and down, clearly thinking that you don't have the money.
I mean, I do have the money. I don't know about it being. I should be saying this in character. I clearly have the money, but
Yeah, sure you do.
I don't know if this is worth 4 gold. I mean, I could give you 3.
He's like, this is hand stitched leather, hand dyed. This is good stuff.
Your mother stitched
Yeah, Fion pulls out like his satchel that he hand sewn himself, and he's like, "Yeah, I know. I recognize good work. I do it myself sometimes. Like I said, the hat I'm fine with the 1 silver, but 3 gold. I say 3 gold on this jacket, on this duster.
He says, well, guess what? No duster for you.
Do they know who he is? He literally saved the city. Twice.
Yeah, I was just debating like pulling that up, but I didn't want to play the "Do you know who I am?" You know.
Do it. You have the power.
If you want to make a better argument, you can do that. Check and see, but just like maybe 3.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem persuaded by you saying maybe 3.
Yeah. First thing you have to do is swipe aside your Karen bangs and say, "Do you know who I am?"
Yeah, I am going to pull the Karen, and you know that I was part of the party that saved this city twice, right? Like, you wouldn't be here if I didn't bust my ass. What? Just, it's only worth 3 gold. It's clear.
Oh, you think it's worth 3 gold? Maybe it is thinking that to you, but not to me. Oh, you saved the city. Big friggin' deal.
Oh my god, this guy's a fucking idiot. Okay, and Edna's nowhere to be.
You think that just because you did something good once, that you can just come in here and take whatever you want?
I didn't do something good once, I did it twice. And I've done it far more times than you could ever imagine. Can I speak to Edna?
You want to speak to Edna? Well,
Yeah,
Edna ain't here. You're gonna come back and talk to her later?
We'll be too busy saving the city again, right?
Can I slam my hand down on the counter, and when I do so, prick my hand with my knife and make my hand spark up, or not my knife, my ring, and make my hand spark up and try and use that as intimidation?
Of course.
Wait, don't you have an ability that just like you can? Yeah, that's like a mechanic that you have, right?
No, like I can just get advantage on intimidation if at level 11 if I
Oh, level
yeah.
11.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten that yet. All right.
Let's see.
Because I was thinking if Blood Hunters just had that ability.
That's an 18 plus. Do I have anything to? Nope, I have 0 charisma, so that's an 18 total. And I'll slam my hand down on the counter, have it spark up, and say, "Listen, I know what the hell I'm talking about."
Okay. All right. Let's see here.
You didn't quit fail, did you?
No, you rolled an 18, which is good. Huh.
He rolled a
Okay.
19, didn't he?
Well, I mean, basically, yeah. If you'd run a little bit higher, would have been. But this guy doesn't seem to. You mostly just succeeded in kind of making him more angry as you slam down, and he goes, "Hey, I don't need any trouble here. Get out of here. You get no hat, no coat."
What are the chances that by this time I've already stolen my dresses and been looking for the somebody who can do the alterations and might overhear them?
Would you have gone to Edna's to get the changes made?
I mean, do I think of her? I don't really think of her as somebody who would do the alterations, but I mean, I might be in that area, so I'm kind of hoping I'll have heard them.
How about you and Aladrin make perception checks? Just because, why not?
Because
Or
what
maybe
Delphi see?
roll D100s. Because Aladrin's just sort of on some rooftop dockside, and Edna's is dockside.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
he
also-
could be a roof away.
So it's a D100 or a perception check?
Just a D100. Let's just go with see where the luck is. Same with you, Molly Moore. Roll a D100. Fion rolled a 61 earlier. If you're within, say, 10 plus or minus, then you just happen to hear it. Why not?
I rolled a 59.
I rolled 31.
Aladrin, you happen to notice Fion go into a store a little around the corner, and now you hear some shouting coming from inside of it, from your rooftop perch.
My first thought would be, hey, this isn't Ormus. Out of character, because I guess Lee probably doesn't know what Ormus has been up to.
But I've seen Ormus turn into other people, so it could very well be Ormus.
I think you've only seen me turn.
Do what? We can't hear you.
I think you would have only seen me turn into the dwarf, right?
Yeah. But
Yeah,
you got illusion magic, so that's something.
They don't know the terrible things that you do.
So I'll just jump down off the roof and start walking in towards the building.
All right. You get in while this gnome is on a counter, practically hopping up and down, yelling at Fion. Yeah, you take it out of here. I meant to take it just because you're big. People come in here all the time trying to walk all over me. Well, guess what? I'm walking here. Get out of here.
Wait, Fiona, is this just Brooks?
Oh God. So and yes, by the way, it is just Brooks. So I feel like Fion, he would take this opportunity to be like, he would use his disguise self, his once daily, to turn into we'll say Molly, because I think that's just fresh on his mind, and he's like, I don't have to be big, and he's still speaking in his voice, his own voice, but it's Molly's form.
Well, now your disguised self can only go 3 feet shorter. So are you like a really tall Mollymort?
Oh yeah, he's just so it's like a 7 foot. It's like a 4'1" Molly. So I think that adds like another foot to her height. I'm not certain.
I really
Remember, you're 7'10".
Or yeah,
so
7'10", so it's 4'10".
And you're still taller than this guy by good measure as well.
You're the same size as Vicky.
And yeah, he's just like sort of upset, and he eventually, I think Fion just begins to reach in his wallet, and I feel like that would probably be the moment that Aladrin walks in,
Yeah.
just for
Well,
comedic timing.
sure. But Aladrin, I guess you see this guy yelling at this. Anyway,
Very tall Molly.
Uh, do I have money? That's the $1 million question. I don't think I have any money.
I'm sure
Yeah.
somebody stole his wallet at some point.
Yeah, I have. All right, I'll walk up to the counter and just put 7 gold down, and then just leave.
what do you want? What?
I leave holding my head and rubbing my temples.
As you turn to walk away, he starts picking up the gold coins and just throwing them at your back, one by one. Hey, take your coins! What are you doing? You can't just give me money.
Oh.
I hate this guy so much, but I get it.
I love him.
I think when he starts throwing the coins, Fion just picks it up and leaves, and he shouts over his shoulder again as tall Molly, "I'll pay Edna later."
Hey, you can't do that. You can't do that. And you can see him looking around. If you happen to look over where he's looking around, so like he wants to like jump off the counter, but it's a really tall counter because it's for Edna's very big and very tall. And and he goes around and he goes down a stool and eventually comes out. Anyway, by the time you've left the store, he gets to the door and says, "They're gonna know who you are. I know who you are. Edna knows who you are."
Yeah, she does.
And he's just still yelling as you walk away. He's just yelling. He doesn't leave the doorway, but he's just leaning out, just pointing and yelling.
And Fion will just say to Aladrin as he's walking away, "Thanks, I really lost my cool in there. I usually don't do that, but he was being very unreasonable."
Are you still Molly when you do
Oh
that?
yeah.
I don't understand.
I don't either. And then Fion realizes that he's still
Al-
Molly.
Yeah, Aladrin, I'm curious. Did you not understand how Mollymore got tall? Or
I didn't understand anything of what I saw. And so my first instinct was to just give the man money and then leave.
fair?
Served you well.
All right. Mollymore, are you just looking for anywhere that might to make alterations?
Pretty much.
That's fair. You're eventually able to find certainly plenty of vendors that are mending clothing and various places. Every market has a tinker or two that are there mending and doing various things there. They might be able to handle it pretty easily, but you could try to find a full tailor that has a shop and everything if you wanted.
I'm kind of going for somebody who can do it decently fast at this point. And in the bust, it'll be covered by my armor anyway, so it doesn't have to look great.
Well, these people do it well, and they'll do it very quick because they do it while you're waiting.
Okay, yeah, I'll go to somebody who does that.
All right. Let's see here. For an alteration of this, I mean, what in total do you want done to this? Just, a little more room in that area?
Yeah, just give the chest some room so I can breathe.
That's fair. And you got plenty of fabric that you brought along with it. They ask if there are any other
No, that should do.
Okay. They say that it'll be, and you can see they're sort of using their fingers to measure the stitch and adding in everything. And he goes, probably 6 copper.
Sure.
You can see he's quite smiling. Big smile. He was probably expecting a fight, but he happily takes this in and gets to work with the cutting and the quick stitching. And you're really impressed. This is somebody that has apparently made a living out of just fixing clothing for who knows how long. a true craftsman in the repairing clothing sense.
Nice.
Yeah. Afterwards, essentially, it's not seamless by any stretch. You can clearly see that the stitch is there, but it is a solid stitch and quite decent. It looks, akin to a scar, essentially, but a clean scar, where it was all joined together and expanded. And clearly, this guy knows what he's doing. Everything was sized right, and he didn't even have to measure you.
Can I give him I'll give him 25 copper and the other dress and ask him if he can just basically redo the chest. That way it's not bringing it out, but just remaking the whole front of the
I mean, you can see he's, you don't like it?
I mean, well, it'll do, but in my
It's
mind,
it's fine. I understand. It's fine. He puts up a hand and he says, it's it's fine. It's fine." And
He sobs a little bit.
yeah, just a little bit. You could see like he's like, "I'm getting paid for it, so it's okay." But there's a certain point where he's a little bit of a pride. But he brings out chalk on this one and begins to draw lines as he goes through, and he shows it to you, basically asking you if you approve of this scene here, or do you want the whole thing to get rebuilt?
okay,
And this one, it flows more with the form of the dress.
if it looks good, then yeah, then I'll give it my approval. Just as long as it looks like it was made to be that way, not like it was altered.
Mm-hmm. This one, it's essentially like a much larger pack than before. Um, yeah, good is somewhat subjective at this one, but if you're looking for more, you might even just have them just keep going and really kind of do a full teardown.
Yeah, I'm thinking kind of full teardown. How much would that cost?
He doesn't mention price, but even as you mention price, he says, it's fine, it's fine." And you can see he, like, kind of spits on his fingers and rubs the chalk off a little bit, but then he starts to draw just a little bit, and then he stops, and then he just shakes his head and he says, "You know what? You're right. I should just do this the right way, and I'm going to do it the right way." And he starts to rip the seams of the existing dress, as he seems to basically just be repairing, or rather replacing, the entire front half of the dress, uh, or at least from sort of torso section. And he gets to work on that. It seems like you challenged his pride, and he, gosh darn it, he wants to perform.
On him. Okay, I'll sit and wait and keep an eye out as he does this. Not like a discerning eye, but like just okay. How you doing? All right. Okay, that looks good. Cool. It's coming along nicely.
Yeah, you can see that he seems to have some confidence in it. It's been a long time, you think, since he personally challenged his own ability to perform his art.
Cool.
So, Lee,
Yeah.
you find yourself at the main southern gate. You can see that they seem to be bringing in a lot of grains, and they're bringing in as many supplies as they can from wherever they can, before what they assume will be a large siege.
All right. Are there fortifications already set up in place?
There are quite a few, and it looks like they've even built some extra emplacements, or rather some barricades along the southern road, in that they have not erected full gates, but in the sense that it's not a direct line anymore. They've put up different barriers, so it creates a kind of maze that you have to go through, wider than the original road, so that you can't just charge in. presumably as a step against battering rams and things, that they'll have to take down the entire structure before breaching the wall. You also know that this is entirely moot against a flying dragon.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we
it's
have
something.
artillery set in place, right? Like stuff
Yes.
taking out stuff in the air.
You have been able to see that apparently that they've been somewhat prepared in that, the dwarves being rather industrious, and many of them having seen the terror that is coming. And they have put up essentially ground to air in place. They're on rooftops, they're in watchtowers, they're on the walls, they're on the gate. There are large sections that are just banks of these massive crossbows. And it seems like that's kind of what they're going with. There's essentially two rough designs. One is, like I said, large crossbows, and essentially, oh man, I completely just forgot the word for those. Anyway, you see those, and then others which are akin to trebuchets, but they seem to be loaded with, or rather, ready to be loaded with small rocks to kind of throw flak up there.
Huh. I don't know if
Ballistas.
that's going to be able to hurt her, though, you know?
Oh, they might not be able to hurt her, but
Distract her, at least.
yeah, in terms of the hurling of the rock, they're going fast enough. They'll hopefully get her to ground or damage the wings. That seems to be the thought behind them.
Okay.
And then the ballistae, thank you, by the way, seem to be intended to hopefully strike her down. But they also seem to be balanced in that the trebuchets also could be used to be artillery against an army coming to the gates. They're not on the wall, they're back from it, obviously, so that they can go over it and attack something that's really close to the wall. But they, it seems like they didn't want to go too heavy on the ballista inside the city because, well, if they do take out the Tiamat problem, or if she does not show up, then that was a lot of resources spent on something that they can't use.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I was thinking that she would be with the ship fleet instead of the ground army anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Which
That is possible.
Which is my assumption, you know.
That reminds me, I forgot to say that I would post up with Aladrin on rooftop near the bay, because that was Fion's assumption as well, and having the bow being able to snipe ships and snipe her if she's coming by sea, you know.
Mm-hmm. So you're going to go up there with your freshly, not stolen, but certainly not traditionally transacted hat and trench coat.
Yeah.
This bright blue trench coat. It's just a fun image in my head. Sorry. Now,
Anyways.
the hat. What kind of hat would you have gone with? I'm just curious. What color hat were you picturing?
Since the trench coat is blue, if I could go with a blue hat as well to match. But if
Great.
not, then
Blue
black.
suede? Wait, is all of it blue suede?
It just that's pretty baller. That's fine. That works.
I mean, Fion's whole thing is he appears stylish. He's wearing armor, but he appears stylish.
Yeah, you look like you just fell into an 80s music video. Like it's a lot of blue, but
That's
it's
perfect.
fine.
That's perfect.
It works. That with the blue skin. Oh yeah. If you happen to go al natural. So, Lee, as I said, you are seeing these things. Any thoughts? Any actions? What would you like to do?
I mean, I would agree with what they're doing. I think. I mean, that sounds good to me. If she does come this way, I know you said a lot of the fortifications wouldn't really be that useful, but I mean, I'm pretty much just here to help for the assault because it seems like they're doing everything they need to be doing, at least to me.
Well, make a history check. How about that?
Okay. I think Lee has a +1 to that. Let me check.
We'll see how much you studied the histories of various dragon wars.
I can't find my history. Okay, there it is. It's because it's not black. Okay, yeah.
You know, like, forgive me if I'm wrong, but like, I imagine that Lee being trained, he would have like taken a course on the history of the Dragon Wars, considering that's like the basis for the building of Bakata.
Correct. He
Literally the point I was about to bring up. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a big part of why I'm letting you do this. Just the question is how well you paid attention.
I rolled a natural 1, so don't even bother.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are really surprised by that. You remember that, of course, this is not the first time that the fortress here at Bakata has been attacked by Tiamat. But you know then that there was no city, that it's very different now, and that the difficult part about this and why it was always so devastating to fight against dragons is because the things that you need to fight dragons are almost entirely useless against ground forces. And the things you need to fight against ground forces are almost entirely useless against dragons. And that it,
I covered ground force.
yeah, and if you don't have enough of either, if you try to split the basket, then you might not be able to defend against. And that's the question as you look is these look like it'll stop maybe a small army, but not a big one. And these might stop a small dragon, but not a big one. You're not sure that any of these defenses are good enough, but you don't know if they can do better.
I don't really see any way that we can, because we need to be able to stop a large army, 1, and then we need to be able to stop a large dragon, 2. I would honestly say if they're going to focus on anything, they should focus on grounding the dragon, and then honestly, I would say after that we have a better chance against a large army with our own army.
Yeah, well, you do have the advantage of walls and city and stores potentially,
Right.
and of course you have a lot of dwarves, but they have more. The industriousness and the cunning and the industry of dwarves cannot be understated. Their ability to wage war. That is how they measure their history in many respects, is how many years since this battle, how many years before that battle. These times between these two wars is unmentioned. It's all about measuring war and many of the things that they do. So it's scary.
I mean, I would agree with that. All I can really say is that to me, it seems like Tiamat would be a higher priority because we have things that we can deal with ground forces with.
Yeah.
But we don't. If Tiamat is not dealt with, then we don't have any way to deal with her at all.
Correct. And as you look around, you don't have confidence in any of these emplacements.
Okay. I guess I'll say something then. I'll say I think we need to bulk up on land, air, emplacements.
And you just say this to perhaps one of the teams manning one.
Literally the ranking officer, because if there's a ranking officer there, Lee would recognize him and he would go to him. He probably have like knots or something. And Lee
actually, you don't recognize this fellow. If you go up to one of the teams that's sort of making them and running them, it's a dwarf.
Well, if I haven't met him, I would be able to tell his rank by looking at his uniform, right?
He's not wearing a uniform.
Oh no. Lee doesn't know how to react to this.
Well, you recall that there were several thousand, somewhere in the neighborhood of, look at the specific numbers. I think you had 6,000 paladins, soldiers, and clerics, and etc. left with the army of Bakata. But there were somewhere in the neighborhood of about 8 to 10,000 militia left from the dwarves. The majority of the forces are dwarves, and they don't like uniforms.
Okay, then I'll go up to one of the teams and ask who is in charge here.
Yeah, it's this fella.
Okay. Howdy. I'm Lee.
Howdy.
I put out my hand to shake his hand.
He shakes it. You notice that he's missing a finger.
Okay. I don't think that these ground to air emplacements are going to be enough. I think that we need to bulk that up because I think Tiamat is our biggest issue here. We can deal with ground troops if we have to, but if Tiamat is left to continue, we don't have any way to combat that, so we need to focus our energy on that.
Aye. How many more should we have?
Can I roll? I don't know. I think what we really need are not only more, but bigger. Like more firepower.
He looks at it and he says, I'm not the best of engineers, but this is pretty big. I mean, it looks like a large ballista. It does look pretty darn strong, but that Tiamat is incredibly strong.
Okay.
And he's just like, I think it's as big as they could make it.
I mean, he was there when she attacked, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then I kind of get down. I say, I mean, yeah, but do you think that however many of these can stop Tiamat? The Dragon Queen?
He says, well, she is just a dragon. And, I heard that there were some people that took down a dragon with barely nothing more than their fists here.
Yeah, that was us, and no, we had a lot of help.
Including another dragon.
Yeah, and it was not on nearly the same scale as Tiamat. This was a normal dragon. Tiamat is one of the biggest, well, currently the biggest, baddest dragon in existence.
Well, yeah, she's been beaten before.
No, she hasn't.
You can see his shoulders are slumping a little bit because he knows who you are, and he's like trying, but he's like, well,
We can do this.
Maybe they can build more of them.
Do I think that building more of them would help? Because I honestly have no idea.
You don't know how many it would take, and then even then, they would, if they, you've seen well over a dozen, but even if there's 30 or 40 of them, they would have to all hit her at once, and she could, for all just not even show up. I mean, it's
true.
tough. You don't know what it'll be, and that's always the tricky part with battle, especially defensive, is they can be wrong as many times as they have the resources for it. You can only be wrong once.
Yeah. Well, when you're dealing with a Tiamat, I almost feel like it's worth it to expend whatever resources we have to.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can buy time in other ways. Hell, we could even recycle some of these things if Tiamat doesn't show up or if she's defeated early on. But with Tiamat, there's no way to buy time. We have to defeat her as quickly as possible.
One of those things where it's like city going broke buying new military equipment is better than the city being wiped off the map.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just don't remember because there's been so many characters. Do I know of any nerds that I could enlist to help these guys?
Nerds?
Yeah, I need super powerful nerds. I know we have the city of nerds, but I don't know if we have time to go there and get some nerds.
You know of truly one real nerd in this entire city. That would be Aravan, the librarian at Bakata, the main archives.
Fine, but I couldn't remember his name, and for some reason I thought he might have died.
Well, he did die for a little while,
Oh yeah,
almost.
with Molly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go enlist Aravan's help because I think he might be the perfect person for this. He knows the lore of, the past battles. He would know all this shit.
Yeah. So you're able to head your way towards the sort of archives of Bakata. And you remember before that he was the night librarian when you met. But due to his aid in overthrowing the former mayor, that he was made the official librarian of the archives of Bakata.
Oh yeah, we were so proud of him. Yeah, I guess he didn't die. Okay.
Yeah. So you were able to get back to these archives, and presumably, him being the librarian, he must be around here someplace.
I go in and I look at the sign that just has a picture of a drawing of Aravan with his finger over his lips, shushing. And I think about it for a second, and then make the decision to go ahead and call out into the library. Hey, Aravan, are you in here?
In here.
Lee
Yes.
feels terrible doing this, by the way.
you hear almost immediately, shh.
I
There's
followed
just so loud it echoes. You're able to go to the sort of main information desk of this repository of the city's history, which the majority of which is just counterfeit now, because the actual records, have been copied and smuggled out by Jareth to the city of Tyrannia. But the person at the desk is not Aravan. She is a lovely middle-aged half-elf, and she's looking at you over really angry glasses. The glasses have taken the place of even angrier eyebrows. It's like two sets of angry eyebrows.
Is she wondering what a guard in full armor is doing in the library?
She's not wondering, but she seems to be disappointed that your armor is continuing to make noise.
It always makes noise.
Can you, stop moving, please? It's very disruptive.
I'm sorry, I literally can't.
People are trying to study, and if you look around, you see no one. It's empty.
I stand there completely still, but first you can still hear like a very light humming, like vibrating metal coming from me.
And I just imagine that, like, with every breath, you hear a slight, just
Just a little
wind chimes.
scraping. Yeah.
Like the very light hum of zzz.
Yeah, just a little squeak with every exhale.
I'm not a stealthy man. I'm sorry. Where's Aravan? We need him.
Aravan? She makes this almost disgusted face and shakes her head. What do you want to see him for? His shift is until later.
We need him. He's a nerd.
He's probably at home.
I don't know where he lives. We weren't that close. I mean, I spent a lot of time in the library, but not that much time.
She sighs and rolls her eyes. And she says that he'll be in later if you need to talk to him.
It is pretty important. It pertains to the defense of the city.
And she's just laughing. An airman would be able to help you with that.
Maybe he's a nerd.
He is a nerd. True. Not sure how that would help.
He's at least a level 15 nerd, I would say.
She gets the strong impression that you are also a nerd, and her contempt rises.
Yes, I am a hammer nerd. It's my subclass.
She says, "Will there be anything else?"
Yeah, I need to know how to find Aravan because this is kind of important, and we don't know how much time we have left.
And she says, "Well, I don't know where he lives either, as if I would ever want to. And I don't know where he is, but he'll be in later. He's the night librarian now."
I think that she's secretly in love with Aravan.
Same.
Is Aravan kind of hot?
No,
Damn it.
no, he's not.
That makes it better.
Yeah, imagine uh, the sort of way I always pictured him is if you kind of think um, like comic book nerd from The Simpsons, but
Yeah.
like in a live half elf form, or akin to
That's how I imagine Mark.
well, Mark is like he's a very big bearded man, the big bushy beard.
Yeah,
Um,
like comic book guy, except with a bigger beard.
Yeah, but with Erevan, he is a total nerd. I mean, he's a know-it-all in many respects. But, eh, uh, but unfortunately, it seems that he's not here. That he is, for whatever reason, once again, the night librarian and no longer the head librarian. So,
Man, how did he get demoted?
she says that he was caught abusing the resources of the library.
What does that even mean? How do you abuse the resources of the library? Was he like naked in the like archives or something?
She says that she's not sure on the specific, but she heard that he was caught smuggling books out.
Actually, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, like you know, there's a big possibility that all this information could be lost soon, right?
And she says, no, it'll never be lost. That's why it's the library.
Well, it'll be lost if the library gets burned down. That's
Yep.
why we need Aravan.
She rolls her eyes and points to a sign that, like, number 4 on it says no fire.
I love this. I love this chick.
There is a city in
Rules are meant
Egypt
to be broken.
called a library in Egypt, the Library of Alexandria,
Yes, there is.
or I should say there was.
Right. Yeah, that's a great example.
Keyword was.
Yeah.
Are you somehow implying that because there was the Library of Alexandria, a massive repository of knowledge, that I based an entire city of Tyrannia, taking the Alexander character of my world and making a similar history story with universities to replicate that library? That is an insinuation too far, young lady.
I think I brought it up because of yeah.
Okay, yeah, Tyrannia is Alexandria. But anyway,
Cool. That is oddly specific for me.
Yeah.
My first name is Alexandria, by the way.
Yeah.
good to know. Good to know. I'm going to continue to keep the not knowing anyone's names aspect because I find it fun.
Yeah, but I've already told everybody my name. I've just allowed them to forget it.
It's
And
okay.
no
I'll
one will
never
know
forget.
mine. Anyway,
Let me
So-
guess. Steve.
no, you are in the library of Bakata. You've been informed that Aravan, the nerd that from which you speak, or rather the nerd which you are searching, is presumably at home or, doing something, and that this person doesn't seem to care or know where he will be, but he'll presumably be in later.
Yonder. No, wait, that's your name on here. Shit.
Yeah. And which is even funnier too. I like that you guys call me Yonder, even though I don't know if y'all are familiar with the term Yonder. Maybe it's just a Southern thing, or
Oh yeah, we live in the south.
Over yonder.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we understand. It means far away, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm far away. Anyway,
Yeah,
Sorry.
you go yonder.
You're down yonder.
Yeah.
all right, fourth wall up. Damn it.
Oh no, I'm trapped. Okay. I'm ready.
What would you like to do?
Try and seduce her.
I want.
Clearly,
I
she has
want, I
potential
want to find
progression.
Aravan.
You could do that, actually.
I can find Aravan?
Oh,
No,
no, I
that's
was going with Ormus's suggestion. You can attempt to find him, maybe.
Okay.
You know almost nothing about him.
Wait,
Yeah,
no, didn't we find his place? Like, we visited his place before, right?
That was Mark.
yeah.
You went to
Was-
Mark's house. You did go to a cousin.
Yeah,
Of-
Gary, right?
You went to Gary's house.
Yeah, that guy was gross.
interesting.
Remembering him
I
makes me-
love it that Aladrin remembers Gary
I
Yeah.
remember Gary. He made me uncomfortable.
with the hearts on his boxers. Yeah, so you know where Gary's house was.
Yeah, I don't care about Gary. Gary was related to Jareth, though, wasn't he?
No,
Yeah.
he was Arvan's cousin.
Oh, I didn't know they were related. Good call, Aldrin.
I just knew he was somebody's cousin for a little bit. I thought he was Lee's cousin.
Yeah, because remember you had Jacob's dragon corpse, his dragonborn corpse,
Yeah.
and you were trying to sell it, and you went to the library to see if they knew anyone who would want to buy it, and then he said that his cousin might want to buy it, and he went to Gary, but he came alive. Or no, he was captured. I forget, to be honest. I'd have to think about it for a minute to remember how you got to Gary,
Yeah,
but you
like,
got there through Aravan.
We gave Gary after killing Jareth. Yeah,
Oh,
Dragon
Jacob.
Boy. We killed him, and then we used him to get into Alandria's place, and we feigned knowing that they would bring him back there.
Something along those lines. Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, Gary, is the cousin of Aravan.
I guess if we know where Gary is, I could try going to his place, but I could have sworn that Gary would have left.
He's knowing Gary, and you know him well enough to make this judgment. He's probably dead.
All right, I guess I'll go to Gary's place and knock on the door and see what's going on.
When you knock on the door opens about 2 inches, and you can see not one but 2 brass chains going across the door, and on the other side is an elderly half-elf woman. Yes?
I'm looking for Gary. He's still around?
Who?
Gary?
Larry?
Yeah, sure, close enough. Are there any Larrys, Garys, or Jerrys here?
Oh no, Larry's been dead for years.
Okay, what about Gary?
Who?
Gary?
Gary?
Yes, Gary.
I don't know Gary.
Oh. Any Jerrys?
Who?
Jerry?
Yes, I do know a Jerry.
Can you get? Is he still around? Can you bring me to him?
Oh, I don't know where he. It's been a long time. I used to play cards with his wife.
Ah, okay. Well, thank you for your time. You have a good evening.
Thank you. She closes the door.
Side note: am I the only one who wants to know more about the deceased Larry?
Yeah. Was that her husband? I'm interested. I'm invested.
I know, right?
We'll talk to her after we save the city.
I'm gonna go back to the library and bother the librarian some more.
Let's see here. We haven't touched in with Ormus in a little bit.
But the Discord messed up and you guys really muffled for a second.
It's fine. It's fine. So, Ormus, you got yourself your cloak. What would you like to do?
I don't really know.
That's fine.
I mean, there's still plenty of churches left.
Huh?
There's still plenty of churches left. You can burn down the library.
You could.
Yeah,
I was tempted actually earlier.
yeah. That showed that haughty elf in the front lobby who's off.
Mhm.
No, you can't kill her because she's in love with Aravan.
Ain't- I'm fairly certain that somewhere on that sign it also said no murder. So, not allowed. She got you.
Well, if Ormus is burning it down, I think he can already break a couple of the rules.
Yeah, well. Anyway, so Ormus, what would
Pretty
you
sure I
like?
broke a couple rules anyway already.
What would you like to do? Where would you like to go?
That's an
World
idea.
War-
I'll go burn it down.
Oh, okay.
Wait, please tell me that's a joke.
I don't know. Is
I
it?
don't know. We don't know with him anymore.
Yeah. Do you just go to the library and light a match and burn it? Is the library lit?
Okay,
There has to be
I'll go to the library, but not to
Why?
burn it just yet.
Why are you going to the library?
I want to see some really old history about Bakata.
All right.
The
Oh,
thickest books I can get.
nice.
Stick with 2 C's.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you go in to look at the histories of Bakata. Do you want to ask where these histories might be, or do you just want
Yeah, I'll ask her. Being like, would you by any chance know where the history of this place is? History of Bakata, all land around here, maybe?
She looks around like it's obvious, and then waves her hand around.
All of
Well,
it.
Just because
She says most of the library is about Bakata.
How about the days that it was first made?
The city,
Yeah.
you can see she sighs and goes over to essentially like a kind of register or a log of various books and sections. And she seems to be browsing for
Wait.
some time.
can I say what kind of book I really hope she pulls out here? I just want her to pull out a children's book that's like all you need to know about Bakata and like an abridged history of Bakata, but with like colorful illustrations. Because I feel like that's what she would think he needs since he doesn't know the history of Bakata.
It's possible. It's entirely possible. But we will see what kind of book she pulls. Let's see here. Oh, that's lovely. That is lovely. Okay, so she goes, basically starts to leave. She doesn't seem to acknowledge you at all, but presumably she wants you to either follow or she's just going to bring something back. Not really sure which. But she starts to walk off.
I'll follow her.
Okay. You follow a bit, and she pulls out one book, and on the front of it, you can see it's kind of weird. There's about an odd kind of array of symbols that are carved in on the book, and one of them is of like a monocle, like a glass, like a spyglass in a sense, or not a spyglass per se, but maybe like a magnifying, right? And then another seems to be of a pyramid, a stepped pyramid, and then a third seems to it's tough to tell, just some sort of swirls, kind of a geometric pattern. You're not quite sure, but she holds this out to you, and she says, here you go. It's an interesting read, I've heard.
You haven't read it? Casual.
No, she said she heard, so she's never read it.
Yeah.
Casual.
Okay. I'll thank her, give her a smile, and kind of stay in the area and start reading.
She huffs and stomps off. As you crack the book open and begin to read it, it seems that she gave you, like, well, how to put it this way, the unofficial, unauthorized history of Bakata. It's like the conspiracy theory version of how everything happened.
God.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
They're alternate facts.
Yes.
Fake news.
Lots and lots of alternate facts. I mean, all kinds of things. But as you look at the sort of table of contents, one thing might catch your eye that maybe makes you have a second thought of this is kind of ridiculous. And one of them says, the heart is a lie.
So is the cake.
Interesting. Okay, I'll keep this book in my bag and start kind of looking around a little bit.
All right. You're just going to steal the book?
Well, nobody's gonna need it after this. Anyway.
Oh, jeez. All right. Yeah, you put the book in your bag and you just start to wander around. And then you hear an odd clatter in the distance, some noise, some words, then more noise. You can't quite make it out as the echoes go through the line. But something
You
noise.
get shout out, the fuck you do?
But, it's just noise through in the distance.
I don't get a response or anything.
No, just noise.
I'll go check it out.
All right. After working your way through the stacks, you're able to come out just as you see a heavily armored Lee clunk, 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 clunk out of the library. Presumably that was the racket, him coming in and making all of the noise.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, now that I know he's not here and he's gone, I'll go back to searching.
All right. Anything in particular you're looking for?
A nice couple big, fat, thick, probably flammable books.
Oh, jeez.
Please don't actually burn down the library.
We need that.
Well, why didn't you go try and find some good, true history?
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of books around.
All right, I'll start collecting. We can go to someone else while I plan this out. Just gotta list those out real quick.
Oh, great. Anyway, anyone want to do anything? I know that sunbathing, essentially. Just chilling, although one is oddly covered in leather. I'm not sure how comfortable that is. Mollymore's dress is eventually done, and it looks pretty good.
Pain is beauty.
Still nothing from the sea.
You don't see anything at all.
Do we have like little rowboats at our disposal?
They could probably be arranged.
I want to take a little rowboat a little bit out to sea.
Now, how far?
On an actual ship if you wanted.
Yeah, but an actual ship requires a lot of people.
And also, too, they've put in a lot of sort of barricades and debris and other ships that are anchored and locked down together. A little rowboat, you could certainly get out past the blockade.
Yeah.
Would you like to go on the rowboat, Fion?
No, I'll stay rooftop perched.
All right. So you're swishing your way out to sea, Aladrin?
Yeah.
All right. You paddle and you paddle and you paddle. You eventually get out of the artificial harbor built up.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna keep going for a while until I can barely see the city. And still, if there's nothing.
Now, are you going, because you know that they're coming from the south. Are you going south to try and see the fleet, or are you going just out to the sea?
I'm going. So if there's south, I want to head like southeast.
Okay.
so that I can still see them, but I'd still be far enough away from the like coastline. If something decides to hit me, I'm not being thrown against the rocks.
All right. So, this is not an especially like long range rowboat, so it's
Mm.
probably just a standard rowboat.
Yeah.
In terms of just being able to see it with your elf eyes, you could
Mhm.
probably go maybe 10 miles, and that
Yeah.
would probably take you, 2.5 hours to get that far.
All right.
But,
And
yeah.
I'll stay out there for like 2-3 hours, and if I don't get anything, like any sight of them whatsoever in those 2-3 hours after getting out there, I'll just come back.
Okay. Fion, you just post up as he goes.
Yeah, bow of whispers at the ready in case I see Tiamat or Morningstar flags.
All right. Yeah, you continue to see nothing. Lee, what do you got in mind?
Oh, I was headed back to the library, like I said,
Okay, going back to the library.
to bother what's her name more.
You get there.
All right, is it on fire?
Not yet.
All right, I guess I go back in and I say, well, I couldn't find Gary, and without realizing that I probably never mentioned who Gary was to her.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to know who Gary is either.
So anyway, I still need Aravan.
He's still not here.
What time does your shift start?
He usually comes in a little before sunset, and it's like noon.
All right. Lee looks at his sundial watch,
Uh huh.
kind of shakes it, realizes it doesn't work, and does that whole gag. Anyway, um,
She gives it exactly as much attention and laughter as it deserves.
none. Okay. Anyway, um, well, dang, I kind of need him soon because we don't know when they're going to be here. So,
She sighs and she says, I might be able to find an address for him. Maybe. I mean, if this is really important and if it gets you out.
okay.
All right. And she says, you're a paladin of the city, right?
Yeah.
So I can trust you not to steal anything. You're going to follow the rules. She points to the rules. And I can go and you're not going to cause any problems. You're not going to let people cause problems, right?
I just imagine over his shoulder you see Oramus just shoving copious amounts of books in his bag.
And, he says, I would never let anything happen.
And she says, fine, I'll be right back. Okay. She
Okay.
starts to walk off, presumably towards some sort of a records room, perhaps, for personnel.
Lee sits down on a stool at the service desk and starts scribing another copy of the Filbish Bible in pen.
You, as you are to do, begin to write this long testament on whatever scrap is available.
Well,
And
I have lots and lots of paper on me for some reason. We don't know why.
that's fair. You begin, as you often do, with the hand exercise. Cramps can be a bad thing, and you want to keep it legible. And you're setting yourself in. Ormus.
You're
If we
still
can get him
muted, bud.
back.
Oh, there we go.
What
Sorry.
terrible scheme are you up to?
Yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna burn the place down.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my god.
Hey, y'all thought it was funny to joke about it until it turned out to be true.
I just
Blame
don't know
yourself.
why you would do it.
Yeah, like you've already caught Asmodeus's attention. He's like,
And he's probably not going to appreciate a library down. That's
Yeah.
just a waste of
Yeah,
resources.
it's not for him. This is for fun.
Ay.
It's for fun.
At least
Alright.
do it close enough to where she can stop it, I guess.
So, well, it might stop with you getting smited by Lee, but okay.
No, I thought he left.
No, he's there. He's back in.
He came
Oh.
back.
Oh, I was away. Sorry.
That's fine. So what would
If
you
I
like to
know that
do?
he's back, I
You
ain't doing
don't.
it.
You don't know that he's back.
Okay. Well,
He's
either
much
way,
quieter.
He doesn't know you're there either, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Okay. First, I'd probably try and find a nice, decent couple pages or book with some decent pages, so I can set like a trail, so it would be timed.
You have lots of books around.
Yep. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll take some books, collect them in a pile next to like a bookcase or something. Take some pages, roll them up a little bit, and set kind of like a trail.
Ripping the pages
Okay.
out.
Yeah, so I have like a trail.
Are you
quietly.
stealth? Are you stealthily? Okay, roll a stealth check, please.
I hope you realize that you might be making Lee waste his smites and stuff to stop you from doing this when we're expecting an invasion that includes a dragon god.
No.
Yeah, at this point, I'd wonder which side Ormus is, but that's just me.
I will
His-
say, to be fair, Lee is wearing earplugs like he always does when he's about to go into battle.
Ah,
I'm
okay.
sorry, it's part of his character that we established that he wears earplugs ever since he deafened himself inside that
Okay.
cavern.
Am I muted? No, I'm not. I got 24.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to
You don't
Start-
sound so disappointed, Yonder.
ripping. Well, I don't understand. It's out of your character. I don't know why you would all of a sudden want to burn down a library.
Is
She
it
gave me
though?
attitude.
Yeah, it is. He's
I-
reacted to. He's tried to burn down structures of people that were first. He's burned down a church to get it. I mean, he's done all these different things, but this is really out of left field. There's
Yeah,
nothing that I can see that is for his gain. Where before it was just selfish arson, and that's fine. But this is just malicious.
Yeah, there's no.
All right.
This
If you don't
is
want me to
just
do it, I
fun.
won't.
You can do it. I mean, it's your character, but I mean, there
Yeah,
are
you
always.
make a fair point. It is out of character.
Yeah, I don't know why Ormus would just all of a sudden be a pyromaniac and decided to burn this building of all places.
Yeah, like before it was like, oh, we've had a lot of trouble with these people. We don't want them to track us. You want me to burn this inn down? And the church was, I'm trying to get my fucking powers back because I got shitted by Mephistopheles. And like
I mean, I
this
guess
one
it's
is just for
fun,
fun.
but,
All right. I won't do
Yeah,
it.
I mean there was
But I
a
am
kind,
stealing that book.
that's fine, but yeah, there was a kind of twisted logic to it, and that's admirable. But this is just
Well, they
Yeah.
wanted to joke about it, so I was gonna make it. But whatever. They're like, oh, that wouldn't it be funny if no.
it would actually be terrible. But
But I will disguise myself and walk out.
okay, what do you disguise yourself as?
Have I seen Gary before?
No.
Okay, didn't think so. Just a random halfling, I guess.
A random halfling?
Yep.
That's not going to be out of place.
It would be extremely out of place, but that's fine. Lee, you're scribing down the Filbish Bible, presumably humming to yourself, sucking on a candy.
Oh, yeah.
And you see a halfling just.
Are you sure I see anything? I probably got my back turned to the door, right?
Well, I would presume that you would go behind the desk, face them, like taking her position, but I could be wrong.
Wait, did she leave?
No, we
There's-
would never take the position.
Yeah, because there's no stool in front of the desk, you know?
Oh, okay. Well, I can't go behind the desk. That's against the rules.
Is it though?
You've
Is it?
been sort of deputized into the library. It's up to you.
Side note, I just had a flashback of like when I was young, where I grew up. The library had a Harry Potter day, and they made behind the desk the Dark Forest.
Nice.
Where all the cool kids go?
Well, it was just not allowed, you know. But it just made
And
me
yet
think of that.
The only time they say the dark forest is not allowed is when they're in the dark forest.
Yeah. Fair point.
So, just saying. It's like the prime directive of Star Trek. The only time they mention the prime directive is when they're breaking the prime directive. But anyway,
Yeah, I guess he's at the desk then. I mean, if that's what he's supposed to be doing.
well, no, you don't have to. It's whatever you want. But there's only one stool, and it's behind the desk.
Okay, I guess I'll be behind the desk. I like to think that Aravan has let Lee behind the desk a couple times too.
Maybe, yeah. If you hung out with him, I don't know if you ever did, but yeah.
Well, we established like really early on that apparently Lee just spends an inordinate amount of time in the library.
That's true. That is true. When you weren't working to escort stolen goods without knowing it. But yeah, so you're able to see a halfling, which is really unusual. You've only met a couple of halflings in your life, and here's one leaving the library with a laden book bag.
Lee looks at the sign and sees if there's any rules against taking books out.
You don't see that they have any books, but yes, the
They have a
number
laden book bag.
the number 1 rule is be quiet. The number 2 rule is be quiet. The number 3 rule is don't take books. Number 4 is no fire. Number 5 is no drink. Number 6, it goes on and on and on.
I call after him. Hey, I think you have to check those out first. And I point to his bag.
What? No, I don't.
I think you
I
have
own
to
the
check
place.
those. Huh?
He
So-
said
no, I
he
don't.
owns the
I own the
place.
place.
You own the place.
Yep, bye.
Can I make a insight against that?
Sure.
Make a perception check against that.
Yes, you can. But of course, Lee, being in the library, knows that the city owns it. So good luck.
Also,
Oh boy.
disguise self can't make you that much shorter if you're not a fearbulk.
Yeah, it's only a foot for regular.
Yeah.
Mine's
Okay,
only
that's
racial.
It was like a magical hat of disguise.
Yes. Well, the Hat of the Skies can get you a lot of things, but unfortunately, I think the Hat of the Skies can't change you that much to get to a full halfling. Sorry, I should have caught that.
It's all good. So he's just a really tall halfling. Yeah, I got like a 9. I rolled really bad.
He's just some
Okay.
person.
Okay.
Yeah, just normal
you
size
gotta-
human. That looks like
gotta-
a
You gotta go and you gotta come and check that out. Check those books out.
Well, I'll add, Lee, that these are not so much libraries as they're known today, but they're really like archives. Nothing's usually you're supposed to read here. You've certainly had, you've been able to borrow books, but you're not supposed to borrow books.
Okay. I say, no, you can't walk out with those without approval.
Well, can you give me approval?
You have
Please.
to come over here so I can check them out for you.
Ugh. Fine. I'll walk over and show him the book.
All right,
Yeah.
you take it out of your bag and everything.
Yeah.
Lee, do you?
Do I recognize this book?
I was about to say, Lee, do you think that you would read a conspiracy theory book?
I mean, you guys have known Lee for a long time. Do you think that's fitting?
I feel like that's more Fion. If out of anybody, that would be more a Fion thing. Like
Yeah,
I feel like Lee wouldn't be the conspiracy type.
That's
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he would read it, but not realize it's a conspiracy theory book and just take it as fact.
No,
Yeah.
I think Lee believes the status quo because that's the type of person that he is.
Yeah, I think in a strange way, like while he wouldn't put it in these words, I think that the concepts would be subconsciously heretical and offensive to Lee.
Yes, because he believes in what he's told as basically anything deviating from the norm. Like the flat Earth society would be heretics.
Oh, that's it. That's in the book. It's in there.
Or is it the Round Earth Society in this?
Oh no, it's about the flat Earth.
Okay.
It goes into all kinds of crazy stuff.
I guess it doesn't have like a borrow card or anything. I guess I write him a note and like give him a due date, write it down and put it in the front of the book.
All right. Yeah, you've seen Arvan, who just sort of would keep various notes and keep track of who he let borrow books from it.
I add him to a list that I've seen Arvan pull out from under the desk, and kind of like what's your name?
John.
John who?
Hancock.
I scan the list. I'm like, I don't see you on the list, and I actually checked there's a there's a board of sketches of people on the side, and it's just like people you don't loan books to, and I don't see him there. So I guess I shrug and like write his name down anyway and give him the book. At this point, has the librarian come back yet?
She is not.
Oh man. Okay.
I know, right?
All right. I give it to him and send him off. He's like, all right, have a nice day.
Just
Hey,
imagine,
thanks, Mike.
just imagine Aravan is in the back room. He saw Lee coming in through a window and is like, "Ah, shit! Get out on the front desk! Get at the front desk! I can't!" Like.
Yeah.
And like right now in the back room, she's like, "He won't stop looking for. Just tell him I'm not here."
All right. But yeah, after Ormus leaves several minutes later, she does come back, and she has a slip of paper that has an address on it, and she says that this is the address that they have for.
Okay. I guess I take it, stop working on what I'm working on, and I leave and try to follow that address.
All right.
With Lee's vast knowledge of the city, right?
Yes, indeed. And she takes a seat, none the wiser of the events that have taken place. So, if you could make maybe, well, no, I mean, you recognize where this is. You got a rough idea, essentially, that it's a place that's sort of central in the southern district, a bit southwest of the library. And you're able to get there in a decent amount of time. It seems to be one of the many apartments densely packed in that are that clutter this section of the city.
Okay. Does it have an apartment number, or am I just gonna have to go door to door, or is there like a?
It has a letter, and that tells you it's in the basement.
Okay.
Because the numbers go up and the letters go down usually.
And then I will walk around the building until I find the way down.
You do find a way down, and it looks like this is, first one on the left there.
Okay. I walk up to his door and I knock. Knock, 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 knock.
You hear from the other side. 2 knocks.
How to break an Aladrin.
Okay. Nothing happens.
Oh, you heard 2 knocks.
I try the door handle.
The door opens.
I walk in.
You can see Arvan just kind of ooh. Oh, it's you.
Hey, how's it going? I haven't seen you in a while.
What are you doing just walking in? You should knock.
I did.
Oh, I thought that was my neighbor.
Oh.
Sorry. Yeah, he does that all the time.
Man, I wish our neighbors were that cool. Instead, they just, well.
Yeah. You shouldn't leave your door unlocked.
He says, "Well, it doesn't really have a lock, but yeah, I'll keep that in mind. I barricade it when I sleep."
I love this guy. He's like me. Anyway,
As you look around, you see that there are clearly this man is what we would describe as a hoarder.
my man.
There's pathways that there. I will add too that the circumference of, or rather, even the radius that the door cuts in has been carefully piled around with stacks, and there are pathways leading to different areas. But everything seems to be at least 2 to 3 feet layered in books or boxes or neatly organized piles of things.
Do I need to make like an acrobatics check to navigate this?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, it's made for walking per se. There's nothing too incredibly narrow. You're not so clumsy that you have difficulty walking.
Okay. I mean, I am in like huge, heavy armor. I don't know if that encumbers me.
I mean, fair enough. If you want to, let's go with an acrobatics check. It'll be fairly simple, but if it's under basically like a 5, you'll probably knock some stuff over.
I don't have a plus to it, so that's actually pretty likely.
Yeah. I mean, if it's anything, yeah, you're fine. You think that if you do anything but walk slowly, though, you're probably going to knock something, but that's okay. Now, I will add too, or rather, I will ask, where's your goat?
I didn't think about it, but I guess the goat hasn't been in any of these other scenes, so I don't know if he's been with me. I guess he's been waiting outside.
I assumed you had him wait outside of the library, which is out of character, but you know that you've had that fight before.
Yeah, I did. That is out of character for Lee, but it's because Aravan wasn't there. He didn't know if it was cool if he brought in the goat.
Yeah.
The goat is waiting outside, but it's
But in the basement hallway, I presume?
Yeah, he's like peeking in the house and like sees all the crap on the floor and like kind of sticks his head in and like takes a little something.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say he's probably sniffing some periodicals that are covering the gossip of the city and just taking a little taste of one or two of the pieces of paper.
Aravan, I need a nerd. You need to come with me.
Is it a convention?
Kind of.
Where are we going?
I need your help to create weapons to fight dragons.
He starts shaking his head. No. No more dragons.
Would you rather be killed by a dragon, or would you rather help us the dragons?
Are those my only 2 options?
I mean, or you could leave and get killed by a dragon later.
Are those my only 3 options?
I mean, technically, there's a very low chance of survival, but you could be enslaved.
How long do I have to choose?
Lee looks at his sundial watch again.
You can see him goes, ha! And he points.
There you go.
Of course, Aravan laughs at it. Perfect.
A man of culture.
Yeah. He says, "What do you need from me?"
I'm not sure. I need nerd power. I need somebody who understands like math and science and history and stuff that can help us improve our ballistas to take out Tiamat, or possibly think of some other weapon.
He says, most of my expertise is in statistics and history, but like not important history.
Okay.
I don't know if I can invent a dragon weapon.
Do you know anybody that can?
Well, Gary was always good at that, but no, not Gary. No, I don't know. No, that's a lie. Gary's not good for anything.
Gary's an idiot.
Yeah, he was good for nothing. Anyway, yeah, I don't think I know anybody. There's a lot of dwarves around. Maybe. Now that I think about it, didn't they put a bunch of those big things all over the place?
Yeah, we want your help improving them.
I really am not the guy to help with. I mean, I can see what I could do, but I don't know what I'm going to be able to do.
You know what? I'm gonna have faith in you. Lee stumbles over, finally gets to where he's sitting, and puts his hand on his shoulder, and is like, "I'm gonna have faith in you. Let's go."
He says, "Do I have a choice? Really?"
I mean, I guess technically you have a choice, but like, do you want to wait for Tiamat to come and destroy the city and take it over and become a slave, or do you want to try to help us out and maybe be able to keep that from happening? I mean, you're a statistician, right? Like, you could probably like calculate your odds of like survival, right?
He says, "If I help out, uh, you think?" He kind of sighs. He says, "You think that I might be able to like get an award like you guys got, and I mean not like a statue or anything. I don't deserve a statue, but like just in the parade, like in the float behind you guys, maybe."
You know what? I'll make sure it happens. You'll get at least a plaque.
Oh, you can see his eyes sparkle a little bit. Will they name one of the shelves in the library after me?
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves, okay?
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
Now
you
that
know
you get
what?
what I mean, I'm
Let's
sorry.
do it. And he grabs the half-eaten sausage that he was with a fork, and he just grabs it in his hands, stands up, and it's at this moment you see that he isn't wearing pants, but whatever. And then he rips a chunk of the sausage off and says, "Let's go."
It's like pants first.
Right, pants first. All right, and he goes to do that. So, Ormus, you've stolen a book of conspiracy theories. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna go bring this to Fion.
Fair. Molly Mort, you've got a nice dress that works quite well. It's blue. It matches pretty well with your blue dragon scale armor.
How much are they charging for it?
You already gave him 25 copies.
And they just take that?
He seemed to take it as a point of pride that to do it, and also on top of that, you basically overpaid.
I'm gonna give him a good 50. It's 50 copper pieces.
50 cup. You give him? Do you give him actual 50 copper, or do you give him 5 silver?
I'm gonna give him 50 copper because I have a lot of copper I don't know what to do with.
Question: in
Yeah.
addition to the original 25 or 25 on top?
25 on top.
Okay,
Okay.
that's a bit more reasonable.
You just start piling on these coins, and you can see that there's a part of him that's just like, yeah, this is a lot. But at the same time, it's like you are paying in pennies. Like it's, silver would have been nice, but or gold, whatever. That's fine. That's fine. He's happy. But yeah, he just is just piling it, and you see that he pulls out this little box that has this tiny little latch on it, and he pops open the box, and he just starts to scoop the coins and break them off of this little sort of almost like a TV tray size table bench that he's working on, and it completely fills the box, and he's so happy, and he closes it, and then he takes the rest and he starts putting them in different pockets, and he's just, yeah, he seems quite happy with the payment that you've given him.
And he did a decent job, right? He did a good
Yeah.
job?
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, this seems it where before this dress was certainly not made for combat. Very few children's clothes are. It was mostly just for wearing, and the seams that he put on are much stronger, though they're not as decorative or clean. But it still looks good. They're just solid seams, and he put in whole new sections of fabric, and it's got a good flow to it, and it looks sturdier than it ever was. He basically rebuilt like half the dress.
Okay, I'm also gonna give him a couple, 3 silver and tell him you might want to get out of the city too. It's not going to be so safe here soon, possibly.
You can see he takes these coins, and you can see like he's looking around for pockets, and he's just, and he starts speaking in Elvish. Do you understand Elvish?
Nope.
All right. He starts speaking in Elvish with a smile, and he's holding the coins, and sniffs the coins, and he kisses the coins, and like tries to put them in various other places, and he puts one in his boot, and he's just putting them all over the place.
But yeah, maybe get out of the city, find, if you have family, go make sure they're safe. There might be like a dragon god queen coming soon. So thanks for the good work.
He nods and he thanks you kindly.
Okay. Also, I would have liked to have been doing water breathing while I was waiting for him, but after that's all done, I'm just gonna walk off and go see if I can find anybody.
Okay. Anywhere in particular you're searching?
Uh, I'm kind of in a more public area right now, right? Like a bigger market area.
Yeah, market area.
Yeah, I'll wander around the market, see if I find any of them. I don't know what they were doing. I could
Okay.
have suspected he was doing military stuff, but
Yeah, fairly. And Aladrin never came back last night, but it's Aladrin.
he's Aldrin. He's fine.
You didn't see Ormus either, but it's Ormus.
Alright, I'm gonna wander around the marketplace for a while before heading back to Alandria's.
Okay. So, Ormus,
Yes.
you're going to find Fion?
Yes.
All right. You last saw Fion when he was just basically leaving the sort of dragon's den this morning. You don't really know where he is.
I mean, to be fair, if he was like close enough to speak to him, I probably would have mentioned what I was doing, not maybe
Gotta-
exactly where I was.
Gonna go to Edna's or go down and look for clothing?
Yeah.
All right. Well, which one would you say, Edna's or going to get a jacket or something?
I'd probably mention Edna's.
Okay. Ormus, you remember Edna's? I think you were there when you guys robbed. So, judging from the robbing, in fact, it was probably your fault. But anyway, you can, where Edna's is. You're able to make your way towards that direction. And when you get there, I'll add too, Fion, you're on the look. Are you being stealthy at all?
Yeah,
Actually,
I imagine I would try to.
No. Well, now that I think about it, though, you're gonna have to hide pretty heavily in the blue suede cloak or the blue suede jacket and hat.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I have several advantages in stealth to overcome it.
Yeah, I think you would be potentially visible from. That's the real question: is do you think Ormus would see you walking?
You know what? That's fair. I don't know why I would be being stealthy. Like, there's not really any reason for him to be right now. So I imagine probably if he looked up.
Yeah. Ormus, as you're moving along, you've got fairly decent perception. You happen to see a block before you get to Edna's a very large individual in some swanky blue clothing. Blue duster, blue hat, blue skin. Looks like Fion on a roof.
And I imagine he's probably spoken the command word to have his shirt turn into like a slightly lighter blue.
Well, yeah, you gotta
Kind of like a pirate shirt.
Gotta match. Is it striped?
No, I just imagine like blousy is the only word I can imagine. Like
Fair.
only
Just
word I can
blousy.
think of.
Got it. Understood. So, Ormus, there go your quarry.
A certain song pops into my head. Okay. Anyway,
Oddly enough, the one thing he doesn't have is
Oh,
blue
boy.
suede shoes. Anyway.
Well, he doesn't wear shoes, so.
Yeah.
But does he have giant blue hairy feet?
So this entire time, Fion's just been
Probably.
barefoot.
Well, like, the first couple of sessions he was wearing shoes because, for the most part, he was still working as the sushi chef. But once we started having to leave the city, he was like, oh, thank God, I don't have to wear shoes all the time because I'm in public, you know?
Yeah, he's rocked it Hobbit style. No big deal. Anyway, Ormus.
I'll start walking towards him. Bleh. I'll pull out the book in my bag, and as I get to him, I'll put it in this chest. So natural reaction, you grab it and be like, "Have
Well,
fun, do what you
he's
do."
actually on the roof. Yeah, and you're just ground floor.
Of course, you're on the roof.
Yeah, why wouldn't he be?
Well, I mean, I am sniper perching.
Yeah. Probably need to call to him.
Well, mind if I just try to climb up there?
You could certainly go for it. Yeah.
Fuck it.
Roll in athletics if you wouldn't mind.
Athletics is +7. That's not bad. Does an 11 make it?
An 11 is enough. It looks like this roof was chosen by Aladrin because of the ease of being able to be climbed. So,
Okay.
no
I rolled a
biggie.
4 and I was like, oh no.
Yeah, you're able to get up. You just needed a 10.
Oh my God. I just barely beat it. Awesome. I'll get up there, I'll pull the book out and just kind of like hand it to him. Found this.
Fion sees the book, he's like, oh yeah, that's a good read. The errata actually confirmed the bit about alien life.
You what?
Oh yeah, that's a whole thing.
Oh, yeah, there's a whole section on aliens. Yeah.
Errata wrote it. I like that.
Huh.
Yeah, there's a section on aliens. There's a section on flat Earth. There's a section on our cartographers lying. There's a section on the hearts of lie. There's a section on. I mean, there's a lot of conspiracy theories in this thing.
Jesus. Well, with that being said, I guess I'll start reading it every time. Be like, that's 2 people who said that so far, and one of them I trust. All right.
All right. So you settle in and begin to read.
Yep. And I'll just.
And Fion, you look out over the horizon.
Yes.
You hear a bit of an odd voice. Good Lord, that is a bright blue in this light sun.
Fion instinctively turns towards the voice and draws the bow.
You
Yep,
see,
nope.
you
I'm
see
gonna
a
try-
man with his hand on his brow with dark glasses sort of guarding from the noontime sun. Looking up and out a little bit, and he says, "It is a lovely view, though."
I'm gonna do like a bow. Quick one, and I didn't expect you back so soon. I'm gonna nudge him or Fion in the ribs and be like, show some respect.
Fion, he drops or not literally drops the bow, but releases in how you would if you were going to release a drawn bow but weren't intending to fire it. Brings the
Understood.
Yeah.
Gently easing it forward. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't know what the hell this thing is,
Exactly. That's the tricky part, is that this thing doesn't even have a string.
Yeah, I don't know if it's based off of intent or what,
Yeah, but you ease it forward. You can see, too, I will add, as you played around with this thing a little bit, as you pull it back, it tensions like any other bow. And it seems like it takes roughly the same amount of strength. And as you ease it forward again, yeah, nothing comes out. And you probably point it in a safe direction, just to be sure, too. But, yeah, you can certainly do so. But he says, I only have a short time. but I wanted to say that we are going to be having a discussion about your situation soon, and I want to extend an invite to you or whomever you want to speak for you.
I'd happily go and speak with him.
He nods and he says, "Well, arrangements are, and we will send an envoy or two for you soon enough."
All right. Well, just a heads up, if they say they're from Mephistopheles, I'll be very hostile.
He says, "You know, that is a fair point, although it probably will be from uh, one from him and one from me."
As long as one of them vouches for you, then I'd happily go.
He nods, and you can see he's going to the sort of the edge of the room, looking out, and he says, "So what are y'all doing here anyway?
Well,
Not that
I
it's
was
any of
reading.
my business."
I was reading this fine read from what my friend tells me, and I don't quite know what the hell he was doing, but okay, company, and sometimes it's nice when it's just quiet.
Well, first things first, I go introduce Jet, and Fion holds out his hand. Fion Megamel. I've been fighting alongside Oramus for a while now.
He shakes your hand, and you're surprised at how, one, tight his grip is, and two, how hot his hand is in the chilly air. He says, "Pleased to meet you. I go by many names, and none of them are true." And he gives you a toothy smile and a bit of a grin. And he says, "Well, I'm afraid I must be going soon." And he looks at his wrist, but there is not a sundial. But he says that, time, it's a bit of a funny thing. Difference between here and there. It goes so quick. And he gives a smile and a little salute with two fingers, and then just walks off the roof. But when he walks, he goes through the half barricade that makes up the roof section, seemingly completely undisrupted by it, and then just disappears into air.
Well, Oramus, I'm glad you're getting your shit sorted out, but that was very unsettling. And Fion had a visible shiver when when Asmodeus left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you never really get used to it, but at the same time, you kind of do.
All right. Let's
Devils,
see.
demons. Ugh.
Molly Moritz got her dress. Lee's got a nerd. Aladrin, you're just
Nerd.
sitting out on the water. You've been out here for a while as you're looking around. You can see probably, if you're going about 10 miles offshore, you can probably see another, 30-ish miles. You got
Yeah.
good elf eyes. Go ahead and make a perception check.
That's not good. That's already low. That is a 10.
Okay. With a 10, 10's not great. Yeah, as you look, you can't really see anything, really.
Hmm.
Yeah, you just see a lot of water.
Hmm. I'll give it another hour and then head back.
Okay. I should add too that basically, you know which way you're going and everything. This
Yeah.
far out, you know which direction the city is in, but like you can barely see the shore. It's just empty. It's just you and the water, and you can just hear the sloshing, and you feel the up and down, and the up and down, and the beating sun above.
Hmm.
It's kind of peaceful, serene, and when you're alone with your thoughts out there, what are you thinking of?
It's he's kind of just keeping watch because he doesn't want to abandon his post again.
Ah, I see. Yeah, and that's certainly something that's probably weighing on him all those times. Maybe thinking about even the past, thinking about home, thoughts
Yeah,
drifting in, but trying to push him out and focus on the job.
yeah,
Hmm. But yep, after enough time, knowing that it'll take about 2.5 hours to really get your way back, that yeah, you should probably start heading back because the sun's going down. It's days are getting longer, but they're still pretty short.
yeah. I'll I'll head back.
All right.
I do want to see if I can find Philbin.
All right. You start heading back. So, Lee, with Nerd in tow, what you want to do?
I mean, I was gonna bring him to the dwarves and drop him off and ask him to see what he could do. Honestly,
All right. You can easily drop him off, and you can see the skeptical looks on their eyes, but they're not going to question you and just, all right.
man, I don't mind.
Yeah, they
I'm
say,
wrong. I'm wrong.
yeah. They ask him, all right, what are your skills? What do you think you can bring? Uh, he shrugs and says, I don't know. Uh, Pub trivia? Is there? No? Okay. But basically that's it. He doesn't.
He accepts his ribbon that says "At least you tried."
Got it. Yeah, Arvan sort of looks it over, and let's see here. Looking over everything, he says, it looks like we might be able to consolidate a lot more resources to be able to maybe build a couple more than we've got here. I think we got enough stores here. Looking over it, he's going over the manifests of the different bits of it. As you see, that statistics and logistics are not too far removed from each other. He kind of says, "Yeah, I think if we're making the same ones here, we could probably make a couple more. We got this wood here, and there's rubble out there, right? We can repurpose some of that for ammunition. Yeah, we can do this." You can see that he is starting to give orders to the various engineers of get these stores here, get those stores there, and trying to help.
Good work. I pat him on the back
He goes, oh, thank you.
lightly
He's
because I know
still
he's weird.
even doing it lighter. That seems to freak him out even more. But yeah, you do so.
Yes, I softly caress his shoulder. Okay, so are the people that are outside of the city, that are living outside of the city, going to be inside the city, or coming to be inside the city in like shelters or anything? What's the plan for that?
Are you asking one of the dwarves here,
Well,
or just what
technically,
you've understood?
Technically, I guess I was asking you because
That's
I
fair.
don't know if somebody would have already.
I understood. Yeah. So your understanding of it, Lee, is that almost all the people that were before outside of the city have come in, or if they, because there's a lot more vacancies here. There's a lot less pressure. While certain areas still worry about property, a lot of other places there are shelters, there are barracks, there are a lot of places to stay, and so a lot of people are already in just from the safety that it could offer. People have already brought in belongings and things. Some have, some have not. You know, too, that They have been keeping track that there have been scouts that have been moving up and down the long road, that have been watching for armies, that have been watching for landings, and that there have been boats that have been trying to trail, trying to trail the fleet. And basically they're doing what they can here.
Okay. All right. Well, specifically, I was asking because I wanted to know where his family is.
So your family is probably, well, they were probably still at home when you went yesterday, your
Mhm.
sister and your grandmother. If you had told them to go into the city, they'd gone in.
Okay. Yeah, I think I would have asked them to. Um, yeah, to go into the city because there's not really enough time, as far as I know, to leave.
Is there anywhere in particular you would have?
Where's that central location of the city where they used to keep the heart?
That one wasn't actually central to the city. That was the heart itself was in a display near the fortress in the far northwest of the city, next to the mayor's house, essentially the old fortress of Bakata, because it was buried in the courtyard of the castle.
Wherever they're doing, refugee housing for the families of the military, I think that would probably be where he would ask them to go.
Well, I will add too, just to throw this out there,
Uh-huh.
that you have a really good relationship with Garrett, the cobbler that that rented out the upsize or the upstairs of his shop to you. You
But
still have an apartment here. You could have them stay at your apartment.
I mean, yeah, that'll work. I was just thinking a fortified place, but I mean, honestly, if we're already going to be trying to keep them out of the city, fortified isn't going to make that big of a difference, and we would wait to do that anyway. So, yeah, I guess above the cobbler shop is perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. In terms of fortifications, in terms of buildings that are secured, really nothing outside of the main court or the main building, the fortress itself in the northwest. Nothing outside of that is really truly fortified.
Okay.
The city walls are protected, but everything else is just buildings.
Okay. Um,
This is a city that hasn't seen war in thousands of years.
until very recently, they've seen a lot of it.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Yeah, that's good if they're staying there. This might be a good time to bring up that Lee's sister is my backup character.
Mm-hmm.
So she's actually a pretty powerful NPC, but I have no idea how you would want to do anything with, if you would want to do anything with that. And if not, I'm completely fine with that. But
Well, unless you call her up to combat, I'll presume that she's with your grandmother.
okay,
And your
Yeah.
grandmother's no slouch either.
that's true. I guess I could if you would be up for that. I could call her in because if she's my backup character, she would theoretically be pretty close to our level.
Mhm.
Maybe. She's not fought multiple dragons, and she's not, in terms of adventure, she's certainly not a peasant, but she's not nearly as experienced as you all are.
Okay,
Yeah.
but what has she been up to while we've been doing all this?
Like I said, she's got some, but she's not nearly as experienced as you all. You all have fought, gods.
Right.
Well, a demigod and an avatar of a god.
She's primarily a support character anyway.
Yeah.
She doesn't really have any. I did not build her to have any like combat damaging prowess. She would mostly be effects and like boons
Mm-hmm.
anyway. So like, I guess I could ask her to help with something.
What do you want her to help with?
That's the thing is that like I can't put her close to the front line because that would be too much danger.
Oh
Possibly,
yeah, that is that is DM bait right.
Yeah, that's DM bait right there.
Main character's sister? Hang on.
Yeah. I'm not really sure because I don't really know enough about the military, but I'm sure there's probably a pretty good place where like clerics and people with powerful support magic would be of use.
They're basically all over, but they're with the front.
They're with them? Okay.
Yeah. Well, because
Yeah, normally it's
they need
combat
them.
medics.
Yeah, they need them there to heal. They need them there to buff. They need, just like your bless. It can't be done from too far away. You
True.
got to get in there.
I guess if she's up for it, I could ask her to see if she can help.
What do you want her to do?
Fill kind of that same role with the other, like clerics and other cogs and whatnot that would be out on the field buffing,
Okay. She will basically report in for general assignment.
Yeah, if that's all right.
All right.
That's terrifying. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. She'll be another one of the faceless in the crowd.
I don't know.
We'll see what happens as you doom your family. So,
I
let's
would think
see.
that you would want to help.
Well, she wants to help, yeah, but she's still rather young, and experienced compared to some, but she is still a kid, basically.
That's true. That's true. What did we decide she was at this point? She's 10 years younger than Lee, or only 7?
That's gonna be up to you, man.
I literally don't remember.
Well, you
For
can
some
make a
reason,
decision.
when I remember
Initially,
us talking,
yeah,
for some reason I was thinking it was 7.
yeah, but if it's 7, then she would be, because when this all started, Lee was what, 22 or 21, something like that.
And it's only been a couple of months.
Okay, so she'd still be like 14 or 15.
Yeah.
Jeez.
See what I mean?
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe
God
not
damn.
in the combat, but possibly in like basically the equivalent of like a medic's area.
Camp.
Yeah.
All
Something
right.
somewhere where she can help, but she's not in direct harm's way, I guess.
Yeah.
They don't want to give a 14-year-old PTSD. Then.
They're probably not going to want her to be on the front line anyway.
Oh yeah, they're not. That's true. They wouldn't do something like that. She's basically just a civilian anyway. She doesn't have any military training.
Yeah. So anyway, she goes and does that.
Awesome.
She'll take care of that. That's where she is, and presumably your grandmother's just at your apartment cleaning it, I guess.
No.
Being
I mean, yeah, it's been a while.
That's what grandmothers do. They just show up and clean stuff. But anyway,
Even if you tell them not to.
especially if you tell them not to. I don't know what it is.
I probably still have those old eggs in my icebox. So
Oh, I hope not. It would be bad. It's been months.
yeah.
Months.
Actually, we should use those as weapons against the army.
Anyway, so Molly Mort, you got your dress and your armor and everything. You've still got a letter that you wrote for your family.
So I put an ask Alandria to send that out in the morning. That was on my to-do list and I forgot.
Now,
So
Alandria doesn't have a lot of content, but you do know that there are branches of the sort of gnomish banks that are in the city. You might be able to, because they claim to be neutral, it's possible that they might be able to get the letter out home.
yeah, I'll go to them.
All right. As you go into one, you may or may not remember that there was some talk some time ago, as you were talking with Nino and Rutabaga, that there were some issues with the gnomish banks, that they weren't giving credit to the city right. But anyway, as you go in, you can see that there are just as before, as you went into another, and it seems that they seem to repeat the same blueprint. You see various statues lining a hallway that come into a large circular room that's cut in half with various, or the wall with various windows at it, and there's a teller there on one in the middle, and there's a window to the left and to the right, but only one is open. And there's a gnome that is working there. There's a short line, and there's a security guard sleeping off to one side of it. But when it is your time to arrive, he goes down a sort of spiral staircase on this and opens the door at the gnomish level and greets you in gnomish. Good afternoon, miss. What can we do for you?
I have a letter I would like to send down south, please.
Going back home, I see.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the letter is.
I
Of course.
I had a moment where I was really hoping that we were going to do a callback where he opens the door on the bottom and Molly's already jumped up to the top.
You certainly could have, but he opens it and takes the letter, looks at the address, and says, "This shouldn't be a problem at all. Of course, we have a little bit of a discount for letters going back to the Gnomish lands." And he winks, still speaking in Gnomish, and he says, "This will be 2 copper." And he stamps it over with an approved postage and holds out his hand.
Is there any way to have it expedited?
He says that, well, we really only have one way of getting it. We'll get it there as quick as we can. We'll send it back home and then have a rider take it out.
All right.
Oh, my
Are you
leg.
sending it out?
Hmm?
When is it being sent out?
He says, well, I'll send it out right now, and a rider will ride it out, and it'll get there very quickly. He looks at it and he says, I'm not personally familiar with this province, but I suspect it shouldn't take more than a day.
All right. That'll be good. Okay. You said 2 silver?
Oh no, 2 copper.
Oh, 2 copper. Okay, that'll do.
He happily accepts the coins, and he he's continuing to hold on to the letter, and he says, I'll make sure it gets there myself. And he says, is there anything else?
No, I think that's all.
All right. And he takes it and he puts it onto a sort of a small shelf that seems to have a couple of other envelopes and boxes. And he basically stands there smiling until you begin to walk away.
I do.
He
I was planning on doing a callback, but not quite the having him go up and down. I was gonna try to. Can I do a stealth check to try to tie the security guard's shoelaces if he's sleeping again?
Sure, go ahead and make a stealth check. The gnome goes back up, and a half elf comes forward, and they begin to, do their transaction.
15.
All right. With the 15, you're able to easily creep up, make a like a sleight of hand check to do the knot itself.
4.
Okay. You're able to essentially do what is akin to just a normal shoe tying bow. It'll be easy for him to open it, but it'll be funny, maybe.
Well, my hope is that he'll try to sit up and step up without noticing since he was asleep and fall on his face.
It's possible.
I'm tying his shoes together, not just tying his shoes.
Understood.
Okay.
All right. What would you like to do now?
Then I'll go back to the dragon's den and talk to Aladria and see if she knows where anybody.
All right. Let's see here. By this time, Aldrin's probably getting close to back. White. Ormus is still on the rooftop with Fion. Lee, I guess you'd be coming back, or?
I believe he stepped out to use the restroom.
That's fine. That's fine. But yeah, I mean, you guys pretty much have a whole day sorted away, and there hasn't been much of anything in terms of being heard. Aldrin, when you get back to shore and hand over the boat, in a sense, to someone at the dock, they ask you if you saw anything out there.
Absolutely nothing.
You nod, so that's good. You know, the scouts say that the fleet stopped for some reason, but at most I don't know how much time it'll buy us.
Yeah.
Tell Jareth that we got the nail in and we kind of did all that damage.
Well, Mollimort, when you get back, Philbin tells you that your message going out to Daisy has come back. Because if you recall, you had him ask if she can resurrect dragons and if she has a way to teleport. And she says that no, she cannot teleport, but she should be able to restore anything to life as long as it's not been cursed.
Sweet.
Yep. So you have that information.
Cool. I don't know what to do with that information now.
Yes, so much information, piles and piles of information.
I
But
have
you
a
want?
feeling he's been cursed.
Well, we'll see. So you have. Do you want Philbin to tell Jareth? I think you had Jareth. I think you already had a message sent to Jareth, but you be mistaken.
I will have a confirmation message sent just in case then.
Okay.
Yes, we are back. No sign of the military ships on the shores yet.
All right. The response that comes back through Philbin is essentially that's good to hear that they were very worried, that they hope everything goes well, and that he will do what he can from his side. So, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Any other mischief anyone else would want to in this day that you are just all waiting for hell and destruction, but the waiting is the worst of it. The waiting is always the worst.
Excuse you. I had a fun time stealing my dress and having it altered and tying somebody's shoelaces together.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But for those that are waiting for combat, just sitting on a rooftop, waiting, lost in their own thoughts, battling their own demons. Some
Yes.
literally.
I'll battle some demons. Did somebody say some demons?
Somebody say demons? I'll battle some demons right now.
They're
All right.
They're just so spicy.
Let's see. As the sun begins to set, a sky filled with yet less stars begins to rise. A whole section of the horizon is rising completely dark. As you're watching, even just by eye, if you just stare, every couple of minutes another pinprick of light disappears. For those that are outside looking up.
Are we playing Kingdom Hearts here?
I feel like
Yeah.
we're missing something.
Well, I mean, to me, this clearly reads like the only guy that we've ever associated with that does cosmic shit is Errata. So like, that's gonna be the path that we have to follow. But currently, we have to worry about the ground that we're standing on. That's how it all reads as me.
Dragons are gonna fall on top of us.
Yeah.
But as dusk arrives, I assume, Ormus, you're still reading the Book of Conspiracies?
Yeah.
That's
Just a
fine.
pastime for now, waiting for Asmodeus.
That's fine. I'll let you know some of the conspiracies later. But two gentlemen begin to climb their way up the rooftop, and they seem to be wearing what is essentially tight tunics, and they look identical, like twins. They look exactly identical. They're tall. They have very close cut haircuts, very wide. Imagine something akin to like Kronk, essentially, from you know the movie. Anyway,
New Groove.
yes, exactly. Imagine like two Kronks, but of more actual humanoid features and dimensions. And they climb their way up the rooftop.
Please
And
tell me you can do his impression.
huh?
Please tell me you can do his impression.
Oh hell no, I can't do that, man.
I wish.
It's basically just deeper. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared. I'm sorry. So yeah, he says, or rather, they say, we're looking for Mr. Oramus. Is there a
Yes.
Mr. Oramus here?
Maybe. Who are you?
They one of them pulls from the inside of its tunic a white sort of folded card, and he hands it to you and says, "We have an invitation for Mr. And on the inside, it essentially says, you are cordially invited to the trial of and it's your name in and it looks like a form letter, but they like hand everything else is printed, but they hand wrote in your name, and then it says in, and then they hand wrote in hell, and, and this entitles you to, and then it essentially says where it would normally say like a +1 or +2, etc. It says whomever you wish. And then underneath for choice of meals, they have scratched out them all and wrote in A.
All right. I'll look at Fion and be like, I mean, you want to go to my trial with me?
I mean, I feel like if I was gonna go, everyone should go, and since everyone can't go, I mean, you're the best talker of all of us.
I will add that it doesn't say a time or date on this card.
Does it say +1?
Okay.
It says whomever he
Whoever.
wishes.
Okay.
So as many as he wishes. He could presumably bring you all, but it doesn't say a time or even how to get there.
I'll ask him how to get there.
They say that, we'll take you. However many you want, at your convenience. Just let us know. It'll be quick. It won't take long. Time's a bit different here and there, so
Oh yeah. Oh, I know.
yeah.
Okay.
Because you're, one of those guys. That time travels roughly somewhere in the neighborhood of about 20 to 30 times faster in hell. So, like, a day here is a month there.
Jeez. Okay. Well, I mean, if you don't want to go, I won't make you.
I just mean it's one of those things where I'm not certain. I just don't know how to deal with it, honestly. I feel like you're better equipped than I could ever be. And my whole thing is a lot different than yours.
Yeah, but it's better to have someone to have your back than nobody, but fair enough.
I mean, if time goes faster, I'll go with you. My main worry is being here when things go down.
Yeah, like they said, it shouldn't take long, and it probably won't take more than a few hours down there.
Assuming they don't just consume both of your souls. Anyway, so do you accept their invitation and be transported to hell?
I do, but whether I have a +1 or not is up to Fion.
You know, because he did invite someone if you want to bring anyone to help speak for you. So
Yeah, and so the only person having any idea with contracts or whatnot being Fion, I figured it would be best. to
I mean, you could bring Lee, but that's probably a really bad idea.
I was about to say Lee is probably your best bet in terms of a lawyer at this point.
Yeah, charismatic wise maybe, but I don't know if.
I'll go with him. Whoever else, if
Yeah, we could try and get. Yeah, we could try and get Lee as well.
But I have
No,
to. I
that's
have
a bad
to.
idea.
You could get the whole gang if you want, but it's up to you. I don't care either way, really.
I have to duck out now, unfortunately.
Yeah, this is pretty much. I'm basically just giving this invitation, and we can figure out what you guys want to do with it, or even just hold off. It doesn't have a time. It just says, they just say at your earliest convenience, bring whoever you like.
All right.
All right,
So,
I'll wait until the whole group's together and let them know and tell them.
all right.
What's the
Alright,
going on.
see you guys.
See ya.
Catch you later.
See ya.